What's up, guys?
Hey everyone,
Hope everybody's having a great week. My name is Matt,
I'm Shannon.
and we are here live from Bat City Comic Professionals on Austin's East Side. We are a non-profit comic book store that offers comic books.
Yeah.
We do cleaning and pressing services. We're a non-profit. We do all kinds of cool things for education in the Austin community, as well as giving away scholarships and things like that.
I'm waiting to share. Sorry, guys.
Shannon's getting the live stream going here on her phone so that she can see all your comments, because we're looking forward to all your comments this evening. Happy Halloween. Obviously, next Sunday will be Dia de los Muertos, but will not be Halloween because that's Saturday. So we're going to do kind of a spooky live stream tonight. This is the season of the live stream because everyone has been live all year long, pretty much, on the internet, on Zoom and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a crazy year.
It has been a crazy year.
So, not to make it any spookier, but Halloween time is the most wonderful time of the year.
Yes.
Really sad to see that Halloween decorations are already gone out of all of the stores.
Yes.
Because one of my favorite things to do as a kid was go to like Walgreens on October 30th and buy all the last minute stuff to get for the yard and to get for the house, and that's not even there anymore.
Right, you can't even do that anymore. I'm very sad because I haven't been to any stores this year, and so by the time I was like, oh, I have time, I can go to a store with you, there were no Halloween decorations. So I didn't get to see any Halloween decorations at all this year in stores, other than the ones I bought in July for our wedding in August.
Right.
So I didn't really actually get to see the store set up with them, and I feel like I missed out on that. But, you know, 2020, man.
Totally. It's very weird, I have all these pictures I see of people, like the old school paintings of the colonials having dinner with the Indians, and they're surrounded by pumpkins.
Well, because pumpkins are, see, this is my thing, and I had this discussion with, because he was on the same side of me, with somebody just yesterday, is, all the stores are pulling all their pumpkin flavored things away, all the pumpkin ice cream, all the pumpkin this, and that doesn't make any sense to me, because I consider November pumpkin season.
Exactly.
And
that's exactly where I was going.
Because you make your jack-o'-lantern, and then you bake it, but also, like, the whole point of Halloween in original formation is it was the celebration of the end of the harvest.
Right.
So now you have harvested all of your gourds and all of your things that you've been raising, and now what you cook them. So November is gourd season.
Right. You eat a lot of gourd things.
Right.
Right.
So it doesn't make any sense to me, and about to not have pumpkins and things like that going forward. And I know that, like, I feel like my two holidays that like come back to back that celebrate pumpkins and things like that, they both kind of are getting erased more and more each year. We pretty much erased Thanksgiving off the map.
Right.
Which, like, that's fine, sure, whatever. But, like, we do definitely need a day where we come together and say thank you for the things that we have.
Absolutely. And a time that's actually about being with family. Because even talking to my nephew the other day, I'm like, are you excited about Christmas? He's like, yeah, all the presents.
Right.
It's like, I'm excited to spend it with you guys, and I think that's kind of what Thanksgiving has kind of become, is like, this is the time that we actually get together with people that we love.
It's the only one that doesn't come with
together.
Gifts.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I did not realize that until you said that. But
that and 4th of July.
Right.
But, that's a thing of its own.
Completely thought about that. But
right.
No, Robert said I thought the candy companies invented Halloween.
Right. It's Valentine's Day,
right.
But, also
but
pretty much Halloween.
Yeah, there's actually a really long, and I know you're making a joke with especially with all the laughy faces, but there's actually a really long, rich history of all the different elements of Halloween and where they came from.
Yeah.
And we've been passing this book around in my friends group, and we all already know all of these things, but it's just fun to go back and like read all of these traditions and things like that don't get talked about as much anymore in connection with the holiday and see where things kind of broke down.
Really, there's only 4 holidays. There are 2 equinoxes and 2 solstices, and that's really it.
That's what the holidays are based off of.
Those are what the holidays are. Really, there's only the 4 of them. So, don't get excited about the winter solstice until you have already had your autumn equinox.
Right. And
You know.
autumn is the best season. I love it. It's
a
so
great
great.
season.
Yeah.
It's a great season. I'm more of a summer guy myself,
Right.
but because I like summer blockbusters, and we didn't really have one this year. I'm still kind of waiting for summer to show up.
Right.
You know, no going to the pool this year for me anyway.
Right.
No.
Right.
Kind of its own thing. But here we are. That said, we're going to talk about some of the spooky titles that we have in stock, and we're going to talk about some of the spooky books that came out this week because they did send out a lot.
And just in general, some spooky things.
Yeah. And then, our regular comics that are out and on the shelves, things that are hot. And we've got a movie review this evening. And we are drinking a Dark Horse wine, which we always think is funny because it's called Dark Horse. Good wine.
Yeah, definitely
good wine.
And hello to everybody that's saying hi in the comments.
What's up?
We've had a lot of people jump in already. I'm very excited about that. Renee said he loves Halloween because the day after the candy is 50% off. Ram, hugs back to you. Ram sent virtual hugs.
Cool.
Brian said evening Freddy and not Jason, but he is Michael Myers.
Right.
So, and Ram says Halloween is his favorite holiday. I agree.
Awesome. Yeah.
It's a great day.
Ram's been posting all kinds of cool pictures of his Halloween decorations.
Yeah.
And I encourage the rest of you to take a note out of Ram's book and do the same because it's fun to see everybody's Halloween decorations.
Right. When you come to pick up your books this week in the shop, you'll see that it's all decorated for Halloween now.
Yeah.
So I know sounds really late to say that, but I did it this weekend because
it was 90 degrees last week.
Right. I couldn't do it until that change in the air, and then I was like, oh, it's happening now.
Right. And now it's like the same temperature inside as it is outside right now.
Right. It's wonderful.
It is nice.
Yeah.
That said, now that some of you guys are watching, we're open on Wednesdays now.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
You guys come by 12 to 9. We are open every Wednesday. You can just walk in, no appointments, that whole deal. If you do still want an appointment to socially distance and be safe, we've got Mondays and Thursdays still available for that. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're open. For the most part.
That'll be different this weekend because...
Right, because of Halloween.
Halloween.
I think the store is gonna be closed.
We'll keep maybe by appointment.
Yeah, maybe by appointments.
We'll see.
But there might not be very many appointments because it is a religious holiday.
Yes.
And we are, taking that religious holiday. Anywhere that's closed on Christmas and observes Christmas as a holiday that they close down, we feel it should also be Halloween. And all 4 of those aforementioned holidays should take a time every quarter. Shut everything down.
Yeah.
Be with your family. Go out, trick or treat until 11 p.m.
Yeah. Gomez said, before you pop into the thing, if you could do a Mount Rushmore of slasher killers, who would be on your Mount Rushmore? I feel like the industry would say it'd have to be Mike, Jason, and Freddy, and then I don't know who the 4th one would be.
Yeah, probably Leatherface.
Probably. Oh, yeah.
Probably Leatherface.
That would be what the industry would say.
That's what the industry would say. They wouldn't be my personal ones, but honestly, I was talking about this with Josh today, that of all of the slasher movies, Michael Myers is scary because he stands there and it's his looming presence that gets you. Freddy makes jokes. Like, he's the one that talks. He makes way too many jokes.
He's like the Spider-Man of slasher killers.
It's totally true. And Jason, it's all about the kills and the slashing and the slice and dice thing. Whereas Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1 is a scary fucking movie.
Yeah.
It is a terrifying movie. When he breaks in and picks up the girl in broad daylight and hangs her on the butcher's hook and starts sawing off her skin with a chainsaw, it's the most visceral, brutal scene. And I think being that that's really the earliest one of the slasher films and of the slasher masked killer kind of movies, I think that one still, every other one has just tried to be.
Yeah.
They all have their own thing, but that one is definitely the most brutal. It's actually the hardest one for me to watch. Even though it's filmed here on 685 and out in Bastrop and all that, it's still the hardest. Like, it's not the one that I want to watch every year. Like, Halloween is a cool movie because he's standing there and it's ethereal and it takes place on Halloween.
Right, and I'm big into the idea, and I know a lot of you have probably heard this, I love the idea of when you don't see the monster. And what I like about Mike is he is just looming in the background. Even though you do see him, like, Michael is just kind of standing there, and the idea of him being the shape, like him just being there, like that it's almost like you don't see the monster.
Right.
Like, because he is.
Like he's there and then he's gone.
And he's gone.
There and he's...
It messes with your mind more than it's about just the gore of it all. And
right.
So,
it's the slasher movie that borders on psychological.
Yes.
In the same way that The Shining does.
Yes.
And that said, I think personally, my Mount Rushmore would be Michael Myers, Jack Torrance from The Shining, Ghostface from Scream.
I knew you were going to say that.
Because I have
2 tattoos on your body right there.
I have a very emotional connection with that. And then Sam from Trick or Treat. And if you guys haven't seen Trick or Treat,
do it.
Comic graphic novel movie that's kind of graphic novel based on the movie, but also worked into the movie.
Yes.
And the movie's supposed to feel like a horror anthology book, like a pre-code horror kind of a book, and all the stories kind of tie together and they're their own thing. If you guys haven't seen Trick or Treat, please see Trick or Treat. It's like
one of the few movies that actually takes place on Halloween, just about Halloween.
Absolutely. And it's one of those movies that the merchandising is everywhere for now, and a lot of people still haven't seen it.
Right. I know a lot of people, because I think I've already said it on the live stream, so it doesn't really matter, but I'm doing a Sam costume for Halloween next week, and a lot of people have been like, oh, I've seen that everywhere, I don't know what it is.
Right.
When I say that, and I'm like, what?
Right, movie's been out for 13 years.
Right,
TikTok.
Yeah. Let's get that movie.
Go
we
see
actually
that.
played it, and I know he's on here, we played it in the shop last week for Robert Cerna, who was on his way out until we started the movie.
And then he watched the whole movie.
Whole movie.
And he's like, that was a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, I love Sam, and I love what he just kind of embodies, like the idea of like celebrate Halloween or die.
Right, and that Halloween comes with a certain set of rules around it and traditions, and if you don't follow those traditions, an evil ghost spirit will kill you.
Right, it's trick or treat for a reason.
Right, exactly.
Both the name of the movie and the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta keep all those old school traditions alive.
Absolutely.
I don't know about this no trick or treating after 8 p.m.
It's
stuff.
weird. It's weird.
It's weird, and I don't feel like society's gotten scarier. Society was way scarier back then.
Well, you grew up down the street from John Wayne Gacy, so
right.
That's. I feel like for you, society had a lot of scare in the childhood time frame.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, all things considered, let's give you guys something. Thanks for watching tonight. We are going to give away actually some kind of spooky books. What do we got?
I don't know where I put them. Oh, they're underneath my thing. Let's start with this.
Cool.
We'll start with that.
Cool. Which number is this?
Number one. Number 1 of Witchfinder.
Witchfinder, number 1. We're going to give this away.
Which I'm like, it's really easy to find because we're right here. Well, since our live stream is called Halloween 2020 season of the live stream, the first question I'm going to ask is what is the name of the mask company in Halloween 3 Season of the Witch?
Yeah. Start you off with an easy question. If you guys do know, this is one of my favorite horror movies. It's one of those movies that gets a lot of flack because it's part of the Halloween thing, but it's not about Michael Myers. The original idea was to make the Halloween movies into an anthology horror series where everyone would take place on Halloween but be about a different thing. I love that concept. I think they should still bring it back. And it's not really about Michael Myers and it's not about witches. So it gets a lot of flack, but it's a really cool concept.
Yes, I was asked what the question is again. What is the name of the mask company in Halloween 3 Season of the Witch? And if you get it, you win this comic. Also, Phil's got jokes. Phil said, I heard Matt was going to give away some of his Mondo horror movie posters this week.
Ha! Funny guy.
Gomez, yes, this is your comic.
Bam.
It's Silver Shamrock. I was like, are you going to say
5 more days till Halloween. 5 more days till Halloween. Silver Shamrock Bomb.
Yes.
Very exciting. This Witchfinder number 1's going to you, Gomez. Thanks for playing along.
What?
We got a bunch more giveaways coming up throughout the night. And get your horror fingers ready.
Right.
For your Freddy fingers ready for some horror questions.
I need the gloves in the other room.
Right, you had the glove. I was like, you can't handle the comics.
Can't touch the comics
with the glove.
With the glove.
That said, we're going to talk about some of our favorite picks for this week. Stuff that came out. Stuff that we're excited about. Stuff that we liked.
Yes.
And that you guys liked too.
Yes.
Gomez says thank you. You're very welcome.
Uh-huh.
Thank you for the plays.
Brian went like hardcore and went to like Cochran being the
oh right.
Right. He was like, oh man, that's the owner.
Right.
Man, you know your Halloween though.
Right. Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, I'm gonna kick it off with the number one. This is the new Reminder book. It's called Scumbag. It's basically what if the fate of the world was in the hands of the worst person on it.
Wow.
And he is just a terrible, vile human being. You see him actually like lighting, like getting drugs, and then he's like in the bath. He thinks he's in a bathroom, trying to,
Look at
light
this
up
crazy
stuff.
artwork.
Yeah, the artwork is insane.
Like
oh
a
my
Rick
gosh.
Remender book.
It's very interesting. He basically, so he loses his injection. He makes his serum. He's about to shoot up, and he drops his needle, and it goes rolling, and it ends up in an alleyway where there's like superhero type people fighting, and it's not something anybody in the world knows about. And his needle falls next to a different needle, which happens to be the serum that's going to embody the person, like empower the person who's supposed to save the world. And ends up the guy that's battling this villain gets the wrong needle, and so does he. And now he is stuck being the person that we have to rely on to save the entire world from all the bad that is coming its way.
What a crazy concept.
So crazy concept, crazy art, all kinds of stuff. I love that they did like the James Bond spy thing for the back cover because crazy.
Right.
But yeah, if you guys are fans of Rick Remender, it reads like a Rick Remender book.
But not in space.
But not, or, I mean,
right.
Deadly Class doesn't take place in space.
True.
Yeah.
True.
So yeah, it's just it's an interesting thing. You guys should definitely
awesome art. At least come in and browse through this.
Yeah.
Look at all this cool art.
Phil said the 2-page spread of him doing drugs in the street is great. Yeah, Phil said he's looking forward to seeing where the story goes. Me too. It's definitely an interesting concept. Speaking of things that we're all interested to see where they go,
Gomez says that we should talk about Long Halloween.
I actually didn't even grab it because we talk about it all the time.
Right, and it's still up on the wall. I didn't even pull down the key of it. We have the number one.
Right, we'll have to pull it down when the time comes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stillwater, that's right. Stillwater number 2. I know the back is upside down.
It's flipped, yeah.
Stillwater number 2, this is Chip Zdarsky, and it's pitched as a horror. It's not very horrific in the sense of like what we were talking about earlier, like who's your favorite slasher and things like that. This is definitely more of that I don't know what's going on, and it kind of makes me uneasy. We find out I'm going to do this as non-spoilery as possible because Matt did not get a chance to read issue 1, but we find out in issue 1 that this man wanders into a town, and he sees a boy fall off of a roof of a giant building, and nothing happens to the little boy. And so there's something going on in this town, and this issue kind of starts the discussion of what is that something and why does that something happen. So we'll see where this is going. I don't know. But it's Chip Zdarsky, so it's well written, and there's already like some little things thrown in there that you're like, oh, that's Chip Zdarsky's opinion. And it's a lot of fun, and they're working really hard on some great storytelling and great aspects that they want to bring in. So really looking forward to see where this goes, as per usual with Chip Zdarsky books.
Yeah, and dig that upside down back cover, which is wacky.
Yeah. I'm going to throw this one your way because it's gorgeous, and I know you like to touch it.
Chad Bokelman says he's back. Chad, I hope you're having a good recovery.
Yeah.
Hope everything's been fine with you. My mom had diverticulitis, so I definitely know how difficult it can be. And so, our thoughts are with you, man. Looking forward to talking to you again, and hope everything's going good. If you guys don't know, Chad runs Lantern Cast, which is the absolute best, hands down, Green Lantern podcast discussion, interview. Yeah. The place to go for Green Lantern information in this world.
And some really great comic creator interviews in general.
Unbelievable comic creator interviews. If you guys like podcasts, subscribe to Lantern Cast.
Chad, feel free to drop the link for people to find it.
Absolutely. Please do spam that because it's really great. You guys know, because we've been on this live stream, and it's no secret, Green Lantern's not one of my favorite characters, but I love listening to Lantern Cast. Mm-hmm. Just to hear them talk about the entire universe of comics and how Green Lantern plays a role in it. Mm-hmm. Because he definitely, whether he's your favorite or he's not your favorite or which one you like, he's a huge part of the comics universe, and it's always interesting to hear what these creators have done, what covers they've done, who's interacted with them, the other things they were working on at the time that played into it, and how the characters affected all of comics. Mm-hmm. So Lantern Cast, you guys subscribe. Spider Woman is back this week. Look at this Scotty Young cover. This is my favorite Scotty Young cover I've ever seen ever. Um, and all the negative space, like how she's just like a silhouette.
Yeah.
On there. I love it. I absolutely love it.
And Spider Woman, if you guys don't know, it's a very fun Jessica Drew story. We're starting to see Jessica Drew learn about the things in her life that she missed out on, and a little bit more about the stuff that created her as who she is. So if you guys are big into Jessica Drew, congratulations, she's back, and she's in a really fun series.
Yeah. And the art's crazy, and the story's kind of funny. Like, it almost has a comedy aspect through the entire thing. That kind of quippy Spider-Man humor,
yeah,
but worked into the drama
absolutely
of it. And some exciting things are happening. And I actually didn't get a chance to read this week.
Right.
So I'm trying not to spoil it.
Right, I was like, don't flip, babe. It's so full. Everything's a spoiler in this issue. Bless
Excuse me.
you. I'm very excited to see. Apparently, Phil was already listening to Lantern Cast, so was excited to meet through this.
Yeah,
Vagrant Queen, number 5. I have been waiting for this to come back since COVID started. If you guys don't know, it kind of starts very Ray-esque because we have a woman on a desert planet. Star Wars.
Oh, Star Wars. Right.
Woman on a desert planet on her own, and we find out that she has ties to an empire, except as a woman of color. The person that is the Ray type character is the woman of color.
The other one. Okay, got it.
But it's wonderful, and we find out that she is, in the very first couple of scenes in the first issue, we find out that she is the queen / goddess of a planet, and they want to take her back to it, and now she is on that planet, and she is trying to figure out how to get rid of the people who are holding her captive and all of the things that are happening on her planet. So, if you guys have read the previous Vagrant Queen, this is kind of a sequel to that. If you haven't, you're not going to be lost. If they give enough explanation, it stands kind of alone. If you watch the sci-fi show, you definitely also would be really excited to see that this is back. So
there's a show on sci-fi?
There was a show on sci-fi. I totally forgot about it until 2 of our subscribers actually picked it up, and that's why they got into the book. So you guys should definitely check it out. There's the one, BJ, right there. Such a bummer about the sci-fi show. So yeah, issue 5 is back. It's great. If you guys are not following along, I believe we might have most of the first 5, and this is Vault, which you guys know I love my small press comics. So smaller press comics.
Yeah.
And then a couple weeks ago, I brought up Miles to Go number 1 came out. Miles to Go number 2 is out. And this is the story. It's very much like the Patient's Kick-Ass story, in that we have this, once again, a woman of color saying that she, needs to clean out. Like, you find out that she's involved in some kind of underground thing. But it's, in her situation, it's that she happened upon, has a connection with a man who was a hitman, and she, as a kid, got raised by this hitman type person, and so she spent her life being a part of it, and now people are after her and her daughter, and she's on the run, and you see, it's such a great story of, a mom who's a divorced parent who's trying to, rekindle her life, who's trying to do a good job of raising her daughter, and then now we're stuck in the middle of an assassination spree. So
crazy.
Really fun.
This art's really cool.
Absolutely.
Kind of like old school, a little Francavilla-esque here.
Tons of fun, and that's only issue 2. So if you guys haven't gotten into it, now's the time.
Yeah.
Big Girls, issue 3 by Jason Howard, who is doing both the art and the writing.
Talk about Godzilla.
Right, you guys just mentioned Godzilla. This is, it's the story of basically kaiju women. There's a gigantism problem, and so every once in a while women become giants, and the little boys who become giants actually become monsters, and they call them all jacks. And the girls become the warriors that have to keep the evil boy monsters from getting into the communities and killing people. And they find out that these boys never get past basic infantile thought process. They age so slowly, so most of them just know that they're hungry and to attack what's scaring them. And we've got a girl who's a giant who's not really against them, and she was forced into this program, and she's not really digging it, and so yeah, not really even that horrific, Chad. It's actually very much Attack the 50-Foot Woman in that sense, but it's like less horrific because you have this girl who's like, I don't think they're that bad. What has anybody tried talking to them?
Right.
So it's definitely more of a commentary on, do you have to fight just because somebody looks different, or can you actually like try to find a way to deal with the problem?
Yeah. Love these back covers.
Yes. And that's issue 3. So again, if you're looking to get into it, now's the time.
Yeah, it also has a heart to it.
Yeah.
In a way that's like, oh, well, this is a thing that, they're not an evil doer.
Yeah.
Yeah, necessarily.
I'm going to stack the witch books really fast. So, Black Magic, I'm going to leave this really quickly in there. This is like issue 15. We do have trades volumes 1 and 2 in every issue since the second trade came out. So if you're looking to get into it, this is about a woman who works here in America as a detective, but she's also a witch, and her best friend are the Witch of the Black and the Witch of the Gray, and there's a lot that goes on with that. And this is issue 15, but it's Greg Rucka and Nicola Scott. It's amazing. It's all done in this like sepia tone, except for the magic. What?
I would have led with the Greg Rucka and Nicola Scott.
Well, I was leaving it towards the end because I freaked out when I found the first volume of trade.
There's some of that magic.
Because the fact that Greg Rucka and Nicola Scott did a book together was really great. But I was actually leaving it towards the end because I'm going to make a shout out for something that he's not going to.
I was going to do it.
Go for it then.
I am going to be on a panel on this Friday on Zoom.
Yes.
Talking about lettering that I've been doing lately for Halloween Man comics. If you guys don't know, fantastic Nicola Scott has done a bunch of covers and some interiors for Halloween Man over the years, and Nicola Scott's going to be on the panel with me.
Right, you're going to be on panel with Nicola Scott.
I know, I'm totally stoked about it. I know. That's super
really
cool.
Hurt my jaw.
She's amazing. In every other interview I've ever seen with her, I'm like, you're amazing. You're such a nice person. It's going to be fun to talk about the lettering process, though. I guess they have questions prepared or something for me about lettering. And they're going around through all the different things. There have been 2 Halloween Man books that came out this season, the Halloween Man 20th anniversary issue, which is exciting. And congratulations to Drew Edwards for making that happen and going on with his comic for 20 years. And then the second one is Halloween Man versus the Mummy.
Yeah.
Which I did about 7 pages. I did one of the short stories in the Halloween Man 20th anniversary. That's like one of those 80-page or 80th anniversary DC books, kind of the same thing, like a compilation of stories. I did one of the stories in there, and then I did all of Halloween Man versus the Mummy, which is
a great story.
It's a great story. It really is. I did like a really kind of campy 70s horror mag, as Drew called it, letter effects for the Mummy speaking in it, and it makes it kind of artsy and fun and fits with the art really well. I'm excited that both, I think 20th anniversary is already out. It's on Comixology right now. You can look up Halloween Man 20 and it'll come right up. And Halloween Man versus the Mummy comes out on Friday, I think.
Yes,
I think so.
Chris Banks is asking if we can post links to Halloween Man. We can definitely put Drew's information, and then it's on Comixology. We do also have in-print issues of some of the print issues of some of the older stories if you're looking to get some. I've always loved Halloween Man because Drew brings back the great spirit of Halloween and everything with it, but he also did this really great thing where he made a female character who doesn't fit the mold of what a female character should look or act like in a comic book, and I just absolutely love that, and the confidence and poise and amazingness of that character is absolutely phenomenal. And if you've never met Drew Edwards, the creator, who is also the Best of Austin comic book writer for 2019 and a Ringo Award nominee, I don't know how that went last night.
Mariko Tamaki won.
Of course. If you're gonna lose,
Drew was nominated up against Mark Russell, Jeff Lemire, Mariko Tamaki, and one other that I didn't recognize. But Drew, Mariko Tamaki, Mark Russell, everyone has been
Eisner winner for 2020, Mariko Tamaki.
Exactly, and Mark Russell has been doing Second Coming, which I think every single person ever bought.
Yeah.
And then Jeff Lemire. Yeah. It's awesome doing all these DC Joker titles. I mean, it's what? Yeah. Descender. But so for Mariko to win, I mean, absolutely.
Yes.
Congratulations. But to be nominated against that is amazing and huge and super cool. If you guys haven't read Halloween Man,
definitely
Solomon Hitch is laying on the couch watching B horror movies, and like lightning strikes and a thing shoots out of the TV and burns half of his face off, and he's kind of like a Two-Face. Uh, he's like a Two-Face kind of a design of a character, but kind of a heavy metal rocker guy.
Yeah, rockabilly.
Rockabilly, right? But he's got his pumpkin T-shirt on, and he is always trying to do the right thing, but is always also plagued by kind of the evil horror side of him. So he kind of acts like the Punisher, and he will smack a ghoul dead with a shovel rather than let them hurt someone.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a Jekyll and Hyde story that goes on all the time, but he always, in the end, his heart wins. They're great stories, great Austin creator. Really happy to be on the creative team with that and these books. They're also, Comixology has the license for 2 months on books, and then they can go into print, and we will have them in store
once they are
at Christmas time.
And Chad said he actually just got his Kickstarter stuff in the mail because he was here when Drew was here, and he donated to the Kickstarter. So
thanks, man.
Thank you so much for your support, Chad. And Phil said, "Is it Tamaki on Wonder Woman now?" Yes, she is, and that's why it's not awful.
Right, finally.
Again.
Yeah.
Because G. Willow Wilson was doing a great job when they removed her. I'm not going to go on that rant for the 7th millionth time. I just wanted you guys all to know that this Friday, and Matt will post the link for that on our page.
Absolutely. I'll probably post it on Thursday, too. It's one of those, like, Eventbrite things, but the tickets are free.
Yeah. So when you see,
so you
like,
feel
get
fancy
tickets,
getting it.
Yeah. When you see get tickets, know that the tickets are free, but also please come support local creators, support, of course, our Matt. I'm obviously super, super proud, and you're going to hear me talk about it a lot.
And also Nicholas Scott.
Right, and you get to hear Nicholas Scott speak. So even if you don't know any of the other people and you don't have any interest, come listen to Nicholas Scott speak. And I am going to sit in the other room and watch and be excited.
I thought you were going to run the shop.
Oh, right. I'm going to be watching it in the shop. It's fine.
Store's open. I was thinking about just doing it live in the shop. And customers walk in and bug me while I was on it.
Right. Yeah, that's fine too. Then you guys can be on a panel with Nicholas Scott too.
That said, speaking of witches
who are detectives, and somebody named Scott, this is Kevin Scott's book, Shadow Service. This is actually the British equivalent of black magic, although black magic is dark, and it's definitely like Greg Rucka really going into like the deep lore of not just Wicca, but like other levels of different kinds of witchcraft. And so it's very much like black magic is very much embedded in actual like real world witchcraft. This is kind of more of the like fun stuff, but this is a MI6 kind of thing. They call it MI666. This is a secret service of people who basically recruit / kidnap and force her into service a girl who is basically a Jessica Jones type character. She's working as an independent PI. She has magic. It's awesome. She's very much Jessica Jones, but with witchcraft, and she doesn't know. She's always just had her powers. She doesn't really know where it comes from. She's not really like using it properly. And then she gets recruited, like I said, / kidnapped by these people and are forced to be a part of their team to take down demons and other things that are coming at the world. So this one's more fun. I like it because she has a rat best friend, so it's kind of like Ratatouille / Squirrel Girl in that sense. We have issue 1, Phil, if you want me to pull it for you. This is issue 3.
This is issue 3.
But we have 1 and 2, and it's so good.
I love the MI666. I think that's so funny.
I love it because they hate being called that, but everybody calls it that.
Enough to write on the back cover, so it's a reader joke.
Well, like in the book,
right?
Like
in the book, they hate
it.
Right? Exactly.
That,
Exactly. But they still print it on the book.
Yeah.
And, like they make a thing out
of
it.
They make it like
even though they're making fun of them hating it, it's like obviously this is what the book is.
This is what the book is.
Right.
Yes. Gotcha, Phil.
Cool. Oh my God, are we gonna talk about this?
We're gonna talk about this. I did read it.
You did read it.
Now remember, I still have 1 more issue to go.
I haven't read the 5th issue.
Okay,
the 5th
good.
issue's
So we
not
can
out
just
on
talk
the thing.
about
We
this.
can just talk about it.
Fantastic. Okay, so you guys are in on the conversation.
Yes, this is Devil's Highway. This is currently my favorite AWA Upshot title. Take a drink.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, we always take a drink here whenever we talk about AWA Upshot because we love them so much and we talk about them all the time.
All the time. And this is our only one this week.
It's their only one. And
I'm very upset about that.
Yeah, they're kind of going to just one. Next next week is that the Old Haunts
Old
number 5.
Haunts.
But this week we got Devil's Highway number 4, and I read this because they sent out a advanced reader copy for retailers, and I was like, oh, nobody talked to me because I got to read this. But they did not send out 5. They said 5 is coming soon, so
Good, we're on the same page with this one.
what
So,
a crazy issue.
holy cow. So if you guys don't know, this is the story of truck drivers who have a secret society of serial killers, essentially. That's all I got.
Yeah, and there is a girl whose father has been murdered,
Yes.
and she goes to try and figure out the case, and she's a badass.
This is true.
You know, she's a total badass chick, and she's going to figure out her father, and they're like, well, it's kind of roped into this truck driver thing. You think the truck driver may have killed her, and she's like, she grabs a knife and is like, okay, which one? And they're like, no. It's like
a thing.
Cult ring of serial killing truck drivers who are crazy, and they're out there, and you really need to watch out and be careful about
they're
these
like,
people.
don't get into this, and she's like, okay, well, I have to kill somebody, so I'm getting into it.
Yeah, and rolls her sleeves up and goes for it. And at the same time, it's this truck driving ring is one of the craziest things. I love this panel, which is just crazy. They said, what about you, Earl? How's life been treating you? Oh, well, the lady's giving me a hard time about being gone all the time, but what are you going to do? Nothing but life on the road. Daddy, if I'm not mistaken, you got a new ride? And it shows them, and they open it up, and the inside of their truck has been converted into a hostile torture chamber.
Yeah.
Which is disgusting and messed up. And then some of their shipments contain humans.
Yeah.
So there's like human trafficking involved too. It's very scary.
It's very scary.
Yeah, but the art is amazing, and the girl being a badass gives you a lot of hope in this one.
And the writer, Benjamin Percy, he said that when he was a kid, it was always scary because you couldn't really see into the truck, so you couldn't see the truck drivers, and he always was like, what else can you not see in there driving down the road? And then like as an adult, he was still kind of like, they go across the country, and we don't know what's going on in those trucks. We don't know what's going on. It's got to be like a lonely life. It's got to be a crazy life. And so his imagination, just his whole life, has been what is going on inside these trucks. And so he just had to tell a horror story with it.
And he said one day he was driving down the road, and he looked over and saw a truck driver with, or he was driving past a truck, and written in the dust on the back of the truck was, "Show me your boobs." And he drove up to the front of the truck and looked in, and the truck driver was wearing a clown mask.
Yeah.
And looked over at him, and so he said he lifted up his shirt and then sped off as fast as he could ahead of the guy and off the road.
Because he didn't want to not show the boobs at that point.
Exactly. So he's like, from that moment forward, I thought any one of these people could be a serial killer. They're constantly moving from place to place.
There's no...
And in this book, we find out about a cult of these truck drivers, that they have a route that they drive and that they do all their trafficking on. This is a great title. We have issues 1 through 4.
Yes.
We do. If you guys want to catch up, and the next one will probably be out at the end of next month, beginning of December. And all these covers are awesome with the negative space too. So, but right now it's my favorite ongoing AWA title.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. They're so good. I say that like every week.
They're all good, but I mean, we have American Ronin right now. Year Zero Part 2 is going to start up. Bad Mother.
See, and I haven't finished Bad Mother, so it's still up there for me because I still want to know what happens.
Because you want to know what happens. It's really good.
But
it's really good.
This has just been solid the whole time.
Totally.
They all are, but
they are. I'm trying to think of the other ones. Old Haunts.
Old Haunts. That's everything else is kind of wrapped for, like Resistance
Grendel,
is wrapped
Kentucky.
for. Oh, Grendel, Kentucky. You're right. And then there's a couple more that are about to come out, and I just did an initial order for some of their next wave, which I'm not going to tell you what it is.
And while you got us talking about it, they're just one of those publishers that every title that they come out with is good. They're not like Image. Like Image puts out great books, but they're all kind of catered to a specific taste.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone is like, oh, well, you might like this. Oh, but you might not. Oh, you don't like sci-fi, high fantasy. Well, then you probably won't like this book, but you will like this one about moonshiner werewolves.
Right.
You know, like there's all these different things. Whereas all the AWA titles talk about these real visceral topics that are going on, and if you're into kind of real life stylized fiction,
real life fiction, real world fiction,
real world fiction, but super fiction, but maybe not.
Could go either way.
Had to keep going with that.
This is Deadly number 4.
Yeah.
I brought this book up. We actually ordered this book on a fluke because I wanted the zombie-esque Francavilla cover, and we had to get a bunch of issue one
Mhm.
for it, and I didn't realize that because I didn't do that order. I just knew that I wanted that Frank. I just made a note like I want that Francavilla cover because it looks so cool. And then
It turned out to be an
it turned out
incentive.
to be an incentive, but also it was a really good book, and so we have tons of copies of number one if anybody's interested. But
What's it about?
I'm getting there. So Dead Day is basically not even every year, but every couple years, whatever, it's like an undefined time. There is a day in which the dead can actually physically come back to life. And I love it because the government even has like the registration tables outside of cemeteries so that people can find where their family is now if they want to go see them. Because a lot of people come back and they just want to go see their family. They want to talk about, like, oh, I miss you or whatever. Some people come back and they want to murder the people who murdered them. Some people come back and they just want to kill people because they're dead and they can get away with it. And it's just all kinds, like, it's all over the board. And not everybody comes back every time. So
Right.
you can say, like, you could have lived through, and there's a person in issue one who's like, I've lived through 10 dead days and I still haven't seen my mom. Like, I'm just waiting for grandma to come back. And they're like, what if grandma comes back and she's not the same? And like, there's all the like levels of like understanding of this. Like, there's a guy who's painting his door frame with blood from a goat, and he's like, it worked during the Old Testament to keep the evil spirits out, so I'm gonna do that. And then it's kind of like the Purge meets like zombies, because you're supposed to stay in your house and not go out unless like you like have specific like dead day business. And there's people who have their own militia who are like, the judge should not come back. And then there's like cult worshippers of people who are like, I've got to see, we're gonna have a ceremony for the dead. So there's all these different ideas, but our main characters are a husband and wife and their two kids. And the wife had a previous love of her life kind of thing, and he was murdered, and he's supposed to be coming back on dead day. And if like she thinks he's gonna come back on dead day, and when he does, they have to go finish the business that he was supposed to do, and it was a heist that went wrong. So she ends up in this situation, but it's way better than I thought it was gonna be. Honestly, when I first saw it, because it was like Dead Day, that sounds cheesy, and then I was like, no, this is actually really good. But I love the opening of issue 4, and it is. Did you
I saw it.
see it? It's a musician, and he's talking about his life being cut short and how he didn't really think he was going to do much more than play like music in his garage. And suddenly he started an entire wave of new music, and you never think your music's going to do much, but his music lived on. And I mean, it's very obvious like who it is when you get to those pages.
Here, I'll do a slow reveal.
Right.
And he's dead.
But I thought this is great.
It's a good little way to set up something like that.
Yeah, and I like the way that the introduction was, because I was like, without even, because the first page where it shows it, like they don't even show, they show a little bit of a blonde hair thing, but he's talking and you're like, this is obviously Kurt Cobain. Like, this is where we're going with this. And then he starts talking about his music and how it wasn't supposed to be anything, but it changed like music forever. And I was like, I love this. I love that you can play with that and you never have to say it, and people can kind of like piece things together. Like
It is a great idea to make into a TV show, because each season could be about one group. Then that the dead day is going to have like the couple idea. Like, that's great. The couple who even they're together and they're happily in love, but the one's original spouse comes back.
Right.
It doesn't matter why.
Right. It's just
it's already a twisted mind complex that's
right.
like, oh, this is going to happen. How is this going to play out?
Right.
We know that the results are going to be fucked.
Yeah, and
for lack of a better word.
And it's crazy because there's this one little one-off scene in the issue 1 that does like just trying to explain to you what Dead Day looks like, and they're talking about how, if you don't have like, even maybe don't let your family in, like the government kind of warns like it's probably not a good idea, like I know you want to, but like maybe don't. And so you see like some people having birthday parties with like grandma, and then it's like, if you don't like, you should be in your home, like it's like the Purge where it's like you should be in your home with the doors locked, don't forget to like lock your doors and stuff, and turn your lights off. and you see a guy who like is coming home and he didn't remember to do any of those things, and he walks in and he's like, what's going on? And there's a guy on his couch, and he's like, you should have followed the rules of dead day. And that's like all you see, and you're like, oh, this didn't end well for that guy, and you never see him again. So I'm like, yes, I would love to have a show or something where we go back and we see, was that guy panicking about getting home in time? Was he
Right.
like at the grocery store and he just forgot?
I like all the intro segments,
Right.
and then it zooms into the guy's screaming silent mouth,
Right.
and the show starts. Right.
Right.
You know, like every time without fail, that's how it starts.
It'd be awesome.
Super cool. Great idea. Great concept, and a good Halloween read. And do we have issues 1 through 4? I know
We
have a
have
lot of
issues
coming
1 through 4. Yes. Absolutely. I believe we do have all of them still.
up. Great zombie concept.
Yes. Something a little bit different with zombies.
Oh yeah, another spooky title for the season.
I love that cover.
Yeah. If you guys know that they're doing these Indigenous Voices covers done by Native American artists, and this is the first one.
And
that
I don't
we've
know,
gotten
is that actually
so far.
part of the series?
Yeah.
Is it actually the
It's a Varegi
Okay.
cover. Yes.
I don't know if that's how you say his name, and I'm very sorry.
Varegi.
Varegi.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Native American artist who is doing these covers. You can see all the detail and the teeth and things.
Which makes sense
So
that they
cool.
would launch it on this book.
Right, absolutely. This book is a very Native American influenced story by a Native American writer named Taboo. Yeah. Werewolf by Night returns again.
Yeah.
Next book.
This
is a great book.
Yeah, and it's for those of you who know Werewolf by Night. Obviously, if you're Moon Knight fans, you probably have a little bit of idea of Werewolf by Night. But this is the son.
It's his son.
Yeah.
It's the son of the first Werewolf by Night.
It's the son of Jack.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I knew that the first one is Jack. This one is Jake.
His grandma. He
Because
says
it's the
your dad.
family bloodline.
And he says your dad. You were getting prepared at the same time. Yes. Gomez would like Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, totally. Dude, this is sweet. Super fun story. Native American Indian reservation. Dude turns into a werewolf.
That's all you can say without being a spoiler?
The rest of it's kind of spoilers.
Yeah, it's a great first issue to get you excited about what's coming. It's only a 4-part series.
Oh, really?
It's a 4-part miniseries, so I'm a little sad because I actually was like, oh, I want to see where this goes. Of course, my saddest moment is I can't have cheeseburgers right now, and there's a whole entire joke in there about I really want to go get In-N-Out, and I was like, me too, you
It says I
evil
want to
thing.
get an animal-style burger.
Animal-style burger at In-N-Out, and I was like, that's
It doesn't
just
say
evil.
In-N-Out.
No, it does.
It says an animal-style burger. I could really go for a burger animal-style,
No, he
which is
says-
funny because it's
he
also
says
a
In-N-Out.
werewolf.
Uh-huh.
Nah, dude, right here.
Was that an In-N-Out?
Was that
I saw
an
that back.
In-N-Out I saw ways back? Oh,
Yeah.
I could go for a burger.
Because I
animal
thought, how
style.
rude are you that I'm starving for real food because I can't chew food yet, and you're going to talk about In-N-Out animal-style burgers? Come on.
That is sweet. Yeah, and I thought animal style.
Right, because that's why they
was-
said that.
Right,
Because it's the
absolutely.
werewolf
If you
blood.
guys haven't had the burger animal style at In-N-Out, it is the Whataburger. If you guys are Whataburger fans, they grill their stuff in mustard. It's a mustard grilled burger.
Mhm.
So if you want your In-N-Out to taste like Whataburger because you're there with your hippie California friends, order it animal style. But if you get the fries animal style, it's a very different thing.
Fries animal style. It's so delicious.
Are we gonna start talking about In-N-Out?
No,
on this
we're
stuff?
not,
Okay.
because I can't eat it, and I can't have a burger, Brian. I can't chew foods yet. I can only have soft foods because I just had a root canal and I don't have a crown yet. So
Right.
technically can't. That's gonna last about 3 more days before I get over it, and I'm like, cheeseburger.
Right. Absolutely. Especially that toasted bun
Right.
that they have at In-N-Out. Those crispy fries covered in little onions,
You're just mean now.
cheese, and dressing. And
Cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger. No fries, chips.
Matt actually knows that from personal experience, not from watching Saturday Night Live. Matt used to go to the place from Saturday Night Live.
Daily.
Yeah.
The place.
The place from the cheeseburger.
It's called the Billy
Billy
Goat.
Goat.
It's called the Billy Goat. There are many locations of them.
Sorry,
In
Brian
Chicago.
just said I should have a milkshake burger.
Mm,
Puree that burger.
milkshake burger, right? I know. I would definitely try it if that was a thing that somebody did. I would definitely try it. But I would have to see the burger get pureed because someone would hand me this brown thing and be like, "It's milkshake burger." I'd be like, "No, you take that back right now, you liar." I know what
don't
you're
trust
trying to
you.
do.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's like one of those mat shots or whatever they have at the bar where they just pour the mat out into the thing. Right, all the leftover alcohol, right? One of those. It's nasty.
Do people pay for that?
Yeah, it's got a funny name for it, and you're like, "Oh, you should get this shot. It's a great one." And then they do it.
That's
It's
gross.
disgusting.
Oh my
Right?
god, if
People
you
are
guys know what
disgusting.
that's called, tell us, because that sounds awful.
Right. Also, if you're one of those people who does that to your friends, just stop watching.
Right.
Do you think it's funny to play jokes on your friends like that?
That's not fun.
It's not fun.
Don't do
man.
that.
But, Werewolf by Night, yeah, cool book, super cool book. Nice panels. I haven't showed any of this. We've been yakking the whole time.
Oh right, and if you guys are interested, in those variants, the Reggae, I don't know how to say his name. I feel so bad. I need to figure it out. Variants are going to be coming out all next month on all of the issues, and I have definitely ordered tons of them because I think they're gorgeous and wonderful, and we should support own voices and indigenous people. So those are going to be available at the shop. Also, another thing that's coming out with those is there is actually, if you don't know, at the beginning of this year, Marvel did a collection of stories called Marvel Voices, and it let all of the marginalized groups from Marvel Comics each get like a 3 or 4 page story that was highlighted in there. Now they're doing one that's just specifically in Indigenous voices. So I'm very excited about that. So we also ordered that. But the other thing is that they're re-releasing Marvel Voices. They're giving it a second print, which they have not done. And so we ordered a bunch of both. If you guys are interested in these Marvel Voices, I think it's a great way. Comics in general are a great way to get the view outside of someone else's window, but these are specifically focusing on those things, and I think that they are wonderful. And if you are looking to see what the view outside someone else's window looks like, these are great ways to do that. So,
this book is too.
Yeah,
really
absolutely, yeah. So that's that. Those are coming out in November. I'm very excited about them. Marvel Voices was wonderful, and I actually didn't get one because we were sold out and more people wanted it,
right.
So I sold mine, and so now I'm really excited that it's coming back. Oh yes, Chad said if you haven't had Sandy's, you guys don't even talk about burgers.
Absolutely, hands down.
Word.
Sandy's. Sandy's top-notch downtown burger.
Top notch.
Right. And you haven't had downtown burger.
I have not. I need
those,
to.
Those
like
three
right
guys, those are your non-chain.
Right.
Yeah. Sandy's top-notch downtown burger.
Right. So good. And
awesome.
Sandy's has the Saturday special where it's
Saturday
like super
special.
cheap.
It's like $4.99 for a burger, fries, and a drink.
Yeah.
And it's like
it's
full,
like stupid. Yeah, good.
It's awesome.
And
wait in line for a little bit for it. It's great.
And Top Notch is the home of Matthew McConaughey saying, "All right, all right, all right."
If you're in Austin and you haven't been there yet, as a nerd and someone who watches a comic book live stream, you should at least go.
Yeah, it's the home of Dazed and Confused. It was in the movie. It's
Yeah.
the drive-in restaurant that they go to. I guess it's, Matthew McConaughey pulls up all that. It's there. They do actually do screenings of
Dazed and Confused on 420.
So that's pretty sweet. And they have Dazed and Confused themed merchandise at the restaurant.
As well as the original paddle and the belt buckle, the giant belt buckle.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's O'Bannon's paddles, I believe. So that's Ben Affleck. If you guys don't know, that's Ben Affleck's paddles. So, and yes, restaurant. Cool. This is Top Notch that we're talking about right now, Gomez. The restaurant that Chad brought up is Sandy's, which has the $5 burger special on Saturdays, and then
at Barton Springs and First.
And then Downtown Burger is right at Cesar Chavez and 35.
Mm-hmm.
But they're only usually open until like 1, because once they sell out, they're done for the day.
They sell out. Charbroiled, like kind of a permanent truck establishment. And it's moved locations twice now, and so unbelievably worth it.
Right, and they're Chicago-style cheeseburgers, which is why you love them.
Chicago-style cheeseburgers, because they're charbroiled.
Yeah.
And they're giant.
Yeah.
And they're awesome. Those are our Rex.
BJ said, so you're saying it'd be a lot cooler if they did go to Top Notch. Yes, it would.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
And Nigel says he finally understands the hype of Top Notch because he got to go last time he was in.
I went with Nigel.
I know, I'm super jealous.
It's great.
I know. Haven't been to Top Notch since like the first day they reopened.
I pressed his King the Conqueror for him, and he bought me Top Notch.
And
if anybody wants to trade lunch for getting a book pressed,
Matt will totally fall for that every
I
time.
will fall for it. Also, you have to drive there.
Right. Right. If you bring him top notch, Matt will press your book.
Right, absolutely. Bring me lunch. Press your book. Move to the front of the line. Sorry, everybody else. There's like the speed pass or whatever, right?
Right, your fast pass.
Exactly. My fast track is you bring me a burger and I will.
It's
get
funny
it on
because it's true.
Yeah, if it can be.
One
more spooky book.
One more spooky book. If you guys are fans of Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, the show and or the comic, this is one of the big ones from the Archie's Madhouse house. If you guys don't know, we had Afterlife with Archie. We're gonna talk about that in a little bit, but then came Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which we're also going to talk about in a little bit, so we don't want to go too far into it. But in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, if you guys watch the show, this is Michelle Gomez's character. If you read the books, you know that she's even crazier and creepier in the books. This, I thought, was a prequel. It's not.
It's a sequel.
It's a sequel, and it's her story of when she decides that she's going to kill Lucifer and take over as the Queen of Hell. And I don't know how this is a one-shot, because it got to the end, and so I'm thinking there may be more Chilling Adventures of Sabrina to come when we get to the end of this. Because this was definitely a setup for a complete, like, it would have been a good setup for a prequel. So I'm like, but she mentioned Sabrina early on, so it can't be a prequel. So I'm wondering if it is going to lead into another volume of Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I don't know. They can just make it and I'll buy it. It doesn't matter.
All the Archie Madhouse stuff has been pretty great.
Right. If you guys don't know, I didn't bring it all up here, but Archie's Madhouse had Afterlife with Archie. It had Jughead the Hunger, where Jughead is a werewolf, and it's awesome. It had Vamp Veronica, where cannot talk. Veronica becomes a vampire, and then there is Vamp Veronica versus Jughead, and it's so freaking awesome. I love it, and so all of the Archie Madhouse titles, they're so great and wonderful, and we definitely need to you need to read them all. Yes, Nigel, I will grab that for you too. Mary, Matt already wrote you down for it.
I actually, talking about Jughead the Hunger, I really enjoyed that series.
Me too.
It was super fun, and I made the joke earlier today that Werewolf by Night, I think, has been the best comic book about werewolves to come out this year. And considering there really haven't been many others.
Right.
And then I started thinking, wait, did Jughead the Hunger come out this year? No, it didn't.
No, it was last year.
It was last year and the year before. So, because that series ended after 12-ish years.
I can't believe that. It's been that long.
And then they did Vamp Veronica versus Jughead the Hunger.
Right.
But there's its own thing. Bam! That concludes our picks of the week. We're going to give you guys something. Thanks for letting us ramble about cheeseburgers.
Yeah, and stuff. Before I go on, Mary texts me because I have to talk to you. That's all. Cool. I got this poster. Oh my god, yes. This is upside down. But this is a great poster. So this is, they were doing Monsters Unleashed again, and they have the Spider-Gwen variant, monster variant. So, oh my gosh. This is great. I'm going to give you another pretty easy question, I think. What was the original Universal Monsters movie? I think that's the first one. First one
in continuity, or first one in made by Universal?
You wrote the question based off of your question.
Yes. The first one that Universal put out.
Yes, the first one Universal put out. First Universal monster movie. You get this poster. I still have to fix that shirt. Gomez wants to know, while we're waiting, if we are fans of any Rob Zombie films.
Yeah, absolutely. I think House of a Thousand Corpses is a great homage to Texas Chainsaw Massacre #2. I actually was a huge Rob Zombie fan when that movie was coming out, and horror movie fan. I was very excited about it, and never ended up seeing it because it was rated NC-17 and released directly to video, and I never got my hands on it. And then saw Devil's Rejects first.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a killer movie, and everyone was like, "Oh, you wouldn't feel bad for them or care about them if you saw House of a Thousand Corpses," and it's true. And that fulfilled our time. Did they get an answer?
Yes, Brian had got the answer a long time ago. I was just gonna let you keep talking.
Brian.
Yes, it was Phantom of the Opera.
Lon Chaney.
Yeah.
Right. The
Brian's
original.
always on top of his Universal Monsters
Absolutely.
stuff. I'm very excited. I love Universal Monsters, such a thing. Everybody I know always we always used to go. I used to go to Disney World and Disneyland with my friends who may or may not be watching because they do sometimes, and they were always like, oh my gosh, like they would cry at the like light shows and the water shows, and they were like, this is my happy place. And one year we went to Universal, and it was when they were celebrating the 100th year of Universal, so they actually made a new, for the first time ever, water and light show. And it went through all 100 years of Universal films. So it started with the Universal Monsters, and I think it was like 2 seconds in, and I was like, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Hallelujah, go see.
Oh my god, I was like so happy. So, Universal Monsters, love it. It's wonderful. Also, they had this huge Jaws part in the whole thing, and I like lost it again.
Of course.
Like, oh.
Of course. Star Films.
Yes.
Super cool. Again, we've got more prizes going on throughout the night. What do we got in stock? Things that came out this week that we don't necessarily need to tell you about.
Right, things you guys are probably reading. Like
But we
this.
still got them. Like X of Swords Excalibur.
Yeah. And X of Swords X-Men.
X of Swords X-Men also came out. X-Men 13. I know you guys are pretty pumped about this. And we do still have the Wolverine cover. We just got asked about that today, Renee. I guess those have been selling out everywhere like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Our Nightcrawlers were also a little damaged. I heard that there were damages across the board on Nightcrawler, on the Excalibur variant.
This one has, you can see, it's a little tiny bit on the corner, but it's not too bad comparatively speaking.
Right, yeah, you can kind of see it in there, but at the same time, yeah, this is a pretty good copy.
And
Nightcrawler's here. Daredevil out this week. Again, if you guys are reading it, you're reading it. It doesn't need any words, but it's a super cool cover.
Also Chip Zdarsky. And then there was a Spider-Woman timeless variant.
Oh my god, way to bring these.
And Spider-Woman is actually celebrating. This is technically the 100th issue of Spider-Woman. It's only issue 5 of this particular series, but legacy number-wise, it's 100. So there's a really great joke in there from Carlo Pacheco, who said, oh my gosh, I got to write issue 5 and issue 100 simultaneously. Look at me, I'm a comic book master. So it's like super cute.
I love the Katie McGrath on the cover of this.
Yeah. I know Josh today said she looked like somebody, and I wanted to say, yeah, Katie McGrath. Keep telling you people like that. Come on. Gomez would like X-Men 13 and Daredevil.
Sweet.
Let me write that down really fast before I forget.
I'll hit you up after the stream, man. Thanks so much.
And then my personal favorite thus far of the Alex Ross Timeless variant. We had a damaged copy, so I got to hug it. This is not the one. This is technically Fantastic Four number 25, but it is also the timeless variant of Black Bolt. My favorite. I love him.
He's the dude, man.
Right.
The dude, man.
He's the dude, man. And I also brought the other variant cover because I know this Scotty Young is your second favorite Scotty Young cover of all time.
My second favorite Scotty Young cover of all time. And
the homage.
Yep, the homage to Fantastic Four number 1. I guess I'm covering all of this. But Scotty Young, I like his art style for what it is, you know, and these cute little chibi covers. I never want to be the original cover, but all of his homages are awesome. We had a customer who sent in for the Scotty Young signing, and he sent in, I think it's Spectacular Spider-Man number 1. That's an homage to ASM 300, and it is just adorable.
Oh my god, that's gotta be the most adorable cover
It's super
ever.
Cute, yeah. But he's like on the sky, so it's kind of the Marvel team up.
Yeah.
But he's in the regular costume. It's super cute. But yeah, Scotty Young doing homage covers with this style, it really works for that. This is one of the funniest. Also, what is Gigantus saying?
Then I suggest you speak with my agent and bring your credit card because the days of me doing free homage covers are over. Guardians of the Galaxy is out. This is Al Ewing. You guys know it. You're loving it. I don't need to tell you.
And it's an Empire Aftermath title.
Yes.
So if you guys did read Empire, it might be a good one to pick up for that alone.
Maestro. This is
Peter David back
right.
on Hulk.
Right.
Super
Again,
cool.
you don't really need us to tell you why you love it because you all do, and it sells out every time. I think this is the last one.
Absolutely, yeah. This is like the last copy.
Speaking of last copies, this is the last copy of Juggernaut #2. If you guys didn't get it, now is the time to claim it.
Right.
Because
you guys are following up on the second, third wave of these House of X, Powers of X aftermath titles. I know that Juggernaut has kind of become one of the favorites.
Yeah. Brian says we're getting near the end of the timeless covers. Thanks, Medusa and Shang-Chi are all that's left.
I think so too.
I think so. I can't wait to have my Medusa cover and my Black Bolt cover and make them be happy and forever. I want to like frame them next to each other and just be like, look at them, they're so happy.
That's a good point. I'm like, which two would I frame? I have no idea. Probably Cyclops and Spider Woman.
Right.
I think those are my favorites.
They're definitely. I really love the Spider Woman and the
great.
Cyclops covers and the Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
We have
cool
them on the wall right there for those who haven't been in the store, so we're not just like staring
We're
longingly
like,
like,
which
Alex Ross, what would I frame?
No, we do have them all on the wall. Two of them are gonna get nixed this week though.
Right.
Two of them are on the chopping block.
Well, you have the special.
No, there's three this week. What's the
other one?
There is Medusa, and there is Shang-Chi, and there is Scarlet Witch.
Oh yeah, the one I've been waiting for forever! That's gonna be my favorite one. All the rest of
gonna be the reaction.
Yeah, all the rest of them I'll put Black Bolt and Scarlet Witch together. That's
right, there you go.
That's my power couple.
There you go.
Medusa's hair is great and all, but like Scarlet Witch and Black Bolt are my two favorite powers in the entirety of Marvel.
Honestly, the reality manipulation and the power of your voice is like...
That's all that I need.
Right.
Superpower wise.
Right.
Like, and all I ever
all I need superpower wise is two superhero superpowers.
No, I mean like in general, like storytelling wise. Like I want to write either of those characters, which I mean I you know, doing my thing with Black Bolt, but
right.
I think that the anyway, Iron Man's out.
Iron Man's back. Is this number 2? No,
yeah.
Number 3.
No,
number 2 is the Timeless, I think. Oh, it is number 2. This is last week.
Number 1. No, that came out this week.
Really?
Yeah.
Number 1 was the Timeless?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great time to jump in. You guys are Iron Man fans. Issue 2.
Yeah, and then Spider-Man is on issue 50. The Last Remains.
And Spider-Man 51 comes out this week too, with The Last Remains in there. These have been coming out every week.
Every week.
Yeah, Spider-Man title every week. It's a great time to be a Spider-Man fan.
Speaking of Spider-Man fans, Venom is out.
Venom, another one that we don't need to talk about.
You guys know.
You guys love it. This is possibly our number 1 selling title at the shop.
We had a small kid. Not small kid. He was like 8 or 9. But he came in with his dad this week, and he said he'd been playing Fortnite with Thor. And I was telling him all about how that was printed inside of Fantastic Four. And so he got that. He was really excited. We actually have a picture. It's super cute. But he got that, and then we were talking about comics in general and characters and that. And I said, oh, well, the guy, he said he liked horror stuff. And so I was like, oh, this one's kind of spooky. It's Venom. Like, it's kind of creepier. You know Spider-Man. This is like the creepy version of Spider-Man. And he's like, oh, I know Venom. He was like, that guy's great. I was like, well, it's written by the same guy that wrote your Thor story. And from Fortnite. And he goes, oh, that's so cool. Is he the one that's bringing in the King of Darkness? He's like, you know, the one that's like the king of all the symbiotes, like the first symbiote. And I was like, you are holding back on me. You have secret comic book knowledge that you were telling me you didn't have.
You know a little more about Venom.
Right, I was like, yeah, Noel. And he goes, yeah, he's the King of Darkness. I was like, the King in Black. And he's like, yeah. I was like, he has a whole series coming out in December. And he was like, Dad, we have to come in December for all of that. And he like pulled his dad over there and was telling him all about the whole thing again. And I was like, oh, I love this. This is the best. So shout out to Fortnite for bringing kids into comics.
Kids into it. Absolutely.
And shout out to Donnie for doing that story for them.
Star Wars Bounty Hunters back. If you're reading it, you're reading it. I heard it's amazing.
I actually brought this particular cover because we do have the cover A, but one of the things I never do is I never bring these Empire Strikes Back covers up because they don't stay for very long, but I absolutely love these Empire covers. They're so cool.
Yeah.
So if you guys like, speaking of like homage type covers, these are great homages to actual scenes from Empire, and they're on all of the Star Wars titles right now. So Nightwing is back, and he is back as Nightwing and Dick Grayson. So woohoo!
Not Rich or whatever.
No, not Rick.
This is the 75th anniversary special, so it's oversized and it's glossy. You can see the thickness on there. Super glossy. It's nice. Very
Speaking
nice.
of-
I don't want to get fingerprint. I know I'm just covering
Right,
this in
don't touch it.
fingerprints.
Don't touch it.
You guys should have your own little Abzarine eraser at home. Wipe that stuff
Speaking
down.
of things you can't touch.
Right, which is this Power Rangers?
Yes.
This is the new issue of Power Rangers. One of those foil covers. These we already bagged and boarded.
If you guys don't know,
With
there's
gloves
actually
on.
2 new Power Ranger series starting up next month.
Yes.
It's Power Rangers and Mighty Morphin.
2 separate series.
2 separate series, written by the same person.
Yep.
But 2 separate series. Both start next month. I think it's like one every other week, or one every like 1 week, and then the next is the next one. So
Yep.
if you're a Power Rangers fan, time to get on that.
Right. Good time to be a Power Rangers fan too.
Great time to be. I have so much shelf space dedicated to just Power Rangers. Boom's #1 selling title.
June.
Dune. Speaking of Boom.
Right.
If you guys are Dune fans, you're probably really excited about upcoming movie news and things like that. Dune also has a new comic, and I don't hear a lot of people talking about that for how excited they are about
No.
the movie.
And it's
Show.
cool art.
Is it a show? Is it a movie? I don't know.
Right. I thought it was a show.
I thought it was a show. It's a show.
Is it?
I think so. I don't know. Correct me in the comments, guys, but I'm pretty sure
Right. And if you guys are David Lynch fans,
it's probably on HBO, so it doesn't matter.
you know, Dune's sweet. Dune's a great concept. Dune and The Abyss are 2 movies that when I was a kid, I thought would go into something more in my adulthood, but have not. And I wish that they did.
Gomez, I got you for that Power Rangers.
Actually, I already, Gomez, get your box in the back. I already put that Power Rangers in there.
Nice.
And actually, let me know a list of the foils that you have and don't have. We'll talk after the thing. I think I pulled one of all of them for you. So
Sweet.
we'll at least, make sure you got it.
Engine Ward 4. If you guys don't know, I've been kind of talking about this one a little bit. We're in a world where there are gods. Those gods are based off the zodiac signs. They may or may not be actual gods, but they are definitely controlling people and making them think they are. Very interesting concept. Very cool thing from another title from Vault. You guys should definitely check it out. I'm not going to go into too much more detail, but this is only issue 4, so there's still plenty of time to get involved, and it's really cool. Right, I don't know which one we're on, which god we're on. I think the last issue I read was the one with Leo, and I was like, well, I mean, that doesn't matter. Because each issue has, one that they
She's
focus on.
obviously the best.
It's a girl.
She's obviously
and
the
she
best.
talks about how great her hair is, and I was like, this is so on brand.
Right,
I'm
absolutely.
very excited. Dark Knight, Death Metal, Robin King.
The Robin King is out.
Right.
I've had a bunch of people walk in this week and say, do you still have copies of Robin King? So I don't know if they're gone.
I don't either.
We've got a couple. This one has really nice staples.
Yeah,
Very nice staples.
nice book.
Super good condition on these. Yeah, Robin King, first solo title. Super cool.
I think the one-shot type.
First, before
Yeah.
it becomes
a thing.
and he's in
Right.
everything like the Batman Who Laughs.
Right. Speaking of Batman 101 is out.
Yeah, Batman came out this week.
Still tying
Joker War's over.
This is aftermath of Joker War.
Joker War Aftermath? Oh, yeah.
It's a
From
new
the
day.
ashes of the Joker War, a new day. Cute. Super cute.
Oh, we talked about whether or not there was any Dark Horse today. There's actually You Look Like Death, which is Tales from the Umbrella Academy. You guys know Umbrella Academy. You love it.
Yeah. Gerard Way.
Gerard Way. There
on
you
the
go.
title. Yep. You Look Like Death.
Tank Girl has
Tank
King
Girl.
Tank Girl, which I'm very excited about. If you are fans of Tank Girl, you're gonna love this. It's classic Tank Girl-esque, and if you're not fans of Tank Girl, you probably haven't read it or seen the movie because it's just awesomely hilarious.
No, Jamie Howlett is not doing the art.
No.
He's not doing the art, but obviously there's a big Gorillas project in the works.
Yes.
But Tank Girl is back, and it's all of the Tank Girl goodness of it. It's another really nice, like the Nightwing one. It's the same kind of
Yeah.
gloss cover.
Little
It's
oversized.
Really, yeah, a little oversized. Super nice. And one more here.
Yeah, one more. If you guys haven't heard of it, you're missing out. Speaking of James Tynion, because this is James Tynion's Something Is Killing the Children from Boom. I love this book. It's great. Speaking of classic, great horror things to read for this weekend, this story starts in issue 1 with a kid telling a story about a monster he saw in the woods at a slumber party, and nobody believes him. So they all go into the woods to see this monster that he's talking about, and only he returns. And this girl that you see on the cover, in this amazing Ginny Prison cover, is actually a monster hunter who shows up in town to try to handle the situation. She's a badass. I love her. This book is great. You're reading it, you're reading it. If you're not, you're missing out.
Yeah.
And I think we have one more Nick Gator in store. I think so. Maybe. Don't know. Don't quote me on that.
Might be gone.
Might be gone. Might be gone forever. I don't know. That's all that's in stock. Because I'm going to throw the rest in with my Halloween speech during trades.
You got a couple of trades.
I got a couple trades, and I got some Halloween specific issues I wanted to show.
Oh man, talk about books that haven't come back.
Right, I'm gonna save that for last. Just a couple. Let me put that right there. A couple of trades that you guys might want for your spooky Halloween days. We've got a Ghostbuster Omnibus #1 from IDW. If you guys have read the Ghostbusters IDW books, this is just like classic Ghostbuster fun. It's got a couple of their stories in there.
I love these little omnibuses because they're smaller than comic book size. They're backpack size, and the pages are super glossy and nice. So they're like super nice collected editions. I know they did Indiana Jones one of these.
And there's multiple Buffys and an
Buffy
Aliens one.
Yep.
Alien.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Right.
Speaking of zombies and AWA Upshot, Year Zero Volume 1 is out.
A different look on zombies. The things in the zombie world that you don't necessarily think of diving into, but there's a lot of people on this earth, and there's a lot of different people who end up in the zombie situations, and these are the stories of how they handle them.
Yeah.
A unique zombie world.
Yeah. Brian said, just throwing this out there, if you guys don't take what I say seriously, Brian said, anyone who didn't listen to me last week about We Live is missing out. I agree. It's so good. Thank you for coming in and picking that up, Brian, because it's wonderful. I brought this up. This is the Greg Rucka, Nicholas Scott Black Magic book. This is Volume 1. We do have 1 and 2 in stock. It's great. It's great series. And it's wonderful to get into this time of year. Cause
more of that cool sepia art. Got to show off Nicholas Scott this week.
Right. I know I had to bring as much Nicholas Scott because Matt's on a panel with Nicholas Scott and Drew Edwards, who is the creator of Halloween Man, which is celebrating its 20th anniversary. Matt did some lettering for the 20th anniversary book and the Halloween Man versus the Mummy book coming out. Just for all of
Friday at 7.
7. On Zoom, Matt's going to share the Eventbrite that leads to the tickets, which really just leads to the Zoom link on our page.
Free Eventbrite thing, yeah.
Yes. Raven, Daughter of Darkness. If you guys need this, it is the, oh crap, I forgot the math. Was it 40 years of Raven?
40 years of Raven. 40. Marv Wolfman back on the title.
Yes, all of those things. Yes, Raven is celebrating her 40th anniversary this year. Marv Wolfman, the creator of Raven, wrote this book, which came out a couple years back. But it's just one of those great tormented Raven stories. So if you need some Daughter of Demons in your life, Halloween and some magic, go with Raven.
Yeah.
And then a trade that I know everybody that's read it is going to be sad about when I bring it up, but
it's the one I was talking about earlier.
Great choice for Halloween.
Afterlife with Archie. So good. Everybody comes back as zombies and eats the Archie universe. This is the flagship Archie horror title before there was a Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, before there was a Jughead, The Hunger.
This is it. This was Archie's Madhouse.
Yep.
And Francavilla on the art.
The actual interiors are all by him, which really I think became the book that Francavilla is known for.
Yes. On the map. Yeah, absolutely. Especially in this industry, like it's just everybody really. If you know Francavilla, you probably know this work. If you don't know Francavilla, read this book because it's gorgeous.
Yes. This is the one that will make you go, who is this guy and why do I not own everything that he has done?
Right, and then you'll have to go through all of your Mondo searches forever and get all of the Mondo posters that Francavilla has ever done, and you'll have file folders full of Mondo posters for the rest of your life.
Like us.
Yeah,
Francavilla has been a Marvel staple for some time. Yeah. But, super cool book. You guys definitely need to read this if you haven't. I think this is one of those ones in terms of indie books that needs to go, and we have it on our wall of great titles.
Yes.
I think it goes up there with the rest of the comic greats in one of those titles that you just need to read as a comic book fan.
And then I just brought some random spookies that I wanted to throw out there. They're not necessarily trades, but I just didn't know where else to throw them today, so that's where they're going. DC Ghosts. This is all the dead characters, ghost characters, things like that in the DC universe. So
and one of those 100-page giant things that's super fun.
Right.
Right, it's like $4.99 to $9.99.
No, they're probably like $4.99.
$4.99, yeah. It's a $4.99 comic, but you get like a whole square-bound book out of it. This is a great one for the season, and these are decent for kids too. You have kiddos. These were original Walmart releases and things.
Nigel said, "Can't wait for Volume 2 of Afterlife with Archie. Ha ha ha. Oh, I just made myself sad."
Right, because they did not do it.
They didn't do it. DC The Doomed and the Damned. This is this year's Halloween style title from DC. This one is a lot of stories. There's a Swamp Thing Superman story in here.
Yeah.
A lot of just some more creepy stories of where's this going to go kind of thing. So.
Yeah. And what is this one? $9.99?
It doesn't say.
It doesn't say on it. It probably does on the back or something.
Right.
I'm pretty sure this one is $9.99, like they do for their Halloween annual release, which is funny because it's smaller than the Ghost one. Right. But the Ghost is all reprints.
I brought this up before. This is Joe Harris, the author of the Rockstars comic series from Image. This is his new book, and this is actually an Aftershock title called Disaster Inc. And it's all about a group of people who lead tours into places they shouldn't, and so this one is into modern Japan that has been destroyed by a nuclear power plant erupting, I guess how you can say a nuclear power plant leak, but it has brought back the ghosts of samurai who are now killing everybody on this tour. So pretty spooky, pretty awesome, and it's Joe Harris's writing style, so it's great. Also, if you guys haven't read Rockstars, that also would make a really great this time of year read. So
and also great Christmas gift.
Absolutely. Rogue Planet, I have brought this one up a couple times. This is Cullen Bunn, who's kind of known for being a great horror writer in comics. He did the one we forgot of the Archie Madhouse titles, the Blossom 666.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Blossom 666.
Where they're in a battle to see who's going to be the Antichrist.
Definitely the third best
Absolutely.
Of the series.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Also didn't finish, I don't think.
Afterlife with Archie,
Chilling
Adventures of Sabrina, and Blossom 666 are definitely the ones to read.
Absolutely.
I like Jughead the Hunger because it's Jughead, and if you guys know classic Archie, non-Riverdale, he's always hungry.
Yeah, they have the same eating style.
Yeah, exactly. Him being a werewolf is funny, but it's it's more of a niche thing.
Yeah.
Blossom 666.
Yes. But Cullen Bunn is doing this series right now that's ongoing called Rogue Planet. This is much like Alien. It's like a team of scientists who are on a mission and they hear a distress call and they go to this planet and crazy monster type things are there. So if you're a fan of Alien, you're probably going to like this. It's a little more psychedelic than Alien is, but you definitely will enjoy it. There's some crazy art in there. Like that's like right. If you go back here, there's some like monstery art.
Definitely
stuff.
looks like some aliens.
Right, like that kind of stuff.
Whoa!
Right.
Whoa! Cool. Super cool.
Yeah. I'm there because that's the other cover. And then AWA Upshot title. This is one of the earlier ones. This is Hotel. It was a 4-part miniseries, and it focuses on a different person each one, kind of like we said we wish Dead Day would do in the future. But it's all people staying at this one hotel over this one weekend, and it's kind of their personal hell, and they're kind of trapped there to deal with it forever. And so it's a very interesting concept. In each issue, you see like a one-off like interaction, like somebody might knock on their door and they open the door, and the person that knocks on the door, the next issue is about them. And so you like go and tell, and you see when they knock on the door, like from their side, and it's really creepy, and it's great. It's only 4 issues. We have all 4. It's a great read for Halloween. And other great things for Halloween, if you guys didn't know, Joe Hill, son of Stephen King, author of Lock and Key and Other Great Amazing Things, which, side note, Lock and Key Sandman crossover is coming up. If you guys didn't see the variant that Megan Hutchinson has coming out, it is gorgeous, it's dark, it's creepy, it is great, it is only available at
The
no,
616.
it's Slabs Comics. It's a different store.
Oh.
It's a Slab. I can't remember the name of the store. Oh my god, I just forgot the name of the store. But it's on my personal Instagram. But I'll get y'all the name of the store. It's actually in England. So the prices are in pounds and you have to get it shipped internationally, but I am gonna say that. I don't know if the 616, I think they were talking about possibly getting it for here, but right now it just went up from that store. So anyway, great.
Megan told us 4 months ago now, maybe 5 months ago, and she's like, I am doing a Lock and Key Sandman variant for the crossover of that. And we were like, what?
Yeah.
There's going to be a crossover between Lock and Key and Sandman? That's insane. She's like, shut up.
Right. She's like, I can't.
Shut up. Don't tell anyone. I shouldn't have even told you. And we're like, fuck.
Right.
God.
So we've been waiting.
I saw it go online today, and it was like,
I know. I've been waiting to be able to talk about
yeah,
it.
Exactly.
Yes, Brian, Slab City Comics. Thank you for knowing what Slabs.
Slab City.
Yeah,
Slab They do a good job. They do a really good job with packing their stuff too.
And they have a lot of great variants.
They got a lot of great variants.
And they are also working with the 616. That's why I was like, I don't know, maybe it'll come into America. I can't guarantee that, so get it while you can. Thank you, Brian, for posting the link. I love it. You're so on top of things. Brian's my link guy. You just keep posting links.
Just link it in. Link it in. Very excited that's coming out.
That said, Joe Hill had an imprint with DC. It's honestly the best things that came out of DC this year. Possibly total. But there was a great series of horror books, and one of the best things that they did is that Joe Hill found writers that you didn't necessarily know who they were. They weren't obviously, like, they weren't necessarily comic book writers yet, or things like that, and he brought them into the comic world with their stories. And the first one being Dollhouse Family. This is all about a little girl who receives a dollhouse, and you can go into the dollhouse and crazy spooky things happen, and you find out that there is a family curse around this dollhouse and the people that was done by an ancestor. And a spooky story. It's a 6-part story, I believe. It was really, really great. It was probably one of the creepiest ones, and I really like it. So if you're looking for something creepy dollhouse kind of stories, this is definitely it. Daphne Byrne, this is another title, and this one was all about a girl who
Such a terrifying cover.
I know. It's all about a girl whose dad passed away, and the mom can't get past it, so she lines up with an occult thing, and she tries to do a seance to reach in contact with the dad, but instead she brings something back from the other side that
is on the cover.
That is on the cover and doesn't let go of the girl. Yes.
Super spooky.
And then Joe Hill himself actually wrote 2. There was one other title, Lolo Woods, but Joe Hill wrote 2 of the titles himself, and one is Plunge. We'll go there. And that is the story of a ghost ship. Don't really need to say much more than that because ghost ships are always creepy.
Yeah.
And then the other one is Basket Full of Heads, which was the flagship title for the whole thing. And Basket Full of Heads is the slasher book of the series, and it's all about this little island and these escaped criminals and the people who fight back. And Basket Full of Heads issue 1 is an entire homage to Jaws, the whole issue.
Yep.
It's fantastic. Renee says Basket Full of Heads and The Plunge were his favorite. I think Basket Full of Heads and Dollhouse Family.
We really like Dollhouse Family. Yeah.
Dollhouse Family was so good. That was the one that I was like, every week I have to stop what I'm doing and read that. But
and I didn't mean The Plunge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was you're excited about that.
I like ghost ships. I actually was reading a trade today that we have here in stock that's a Batman story. And it's the Doom that came to Gotham.
Cool.
And it's Batman in the 1920s. It's 1928. And Bruce Wayne has been away from home for 20 years. So 1908 is essentially when his parents died. And he's on a ship. And he goes to find the missing ship of the Penguin. Oh, just Oswald Cobblepot or whatever. Who's a professor. And he finds the ship in Antarctica. And all of the people on the ship are out on the ice. And they've just gone mad. And there's this super creepy scene where the guy's like, it's coming, and he's trying to dig through something in the ice, and Bruce is like, we have to get him out of here, and they take him out, and all of the Robins are there, they're all a part of it, and he's like, we have to get rid of it, and so they blow up the ice, and they can't find Oswald, and he's like, I'm home with the penguins, like I'm in heaven, but y'all are taking hell back with you, and it's some creature that like some demonic thing that they are taking back to Gotham. So we do have that. That's also another great Halloween read.
What's that called?
Batman: The Doom That Came to Gotham. But super creepy. Yeah. Batman titles are always stupid long.
To Gotham.
Yeah. We didn't talk about these thingies, too. Take a break.
Oh yeah, no, that's in stock.
Yeah, we missed them. Yeah, we missed that. So
we're gonna talk about some of the Halloween collectibles. We do order some Halloween collectibles just because we think that they're cool. This is one that we got. This is a Mezco Toys, and it's a Living Dead Dolls Presents because it's not really a Living Dead doll. If y'all ain't gonna buy this, I might. If you guys don't know, I wanted to tell you about my personal connection story I have to this. Obviously, the Scream Ghostface mask was based on the painting Scream by Edvard Munch. And I went and saw it when I was a kid with my mom and my dad at the Art Institute of Chicago, and I was like, that is the coolest painting ever. And my mom was like, what do you think the people in the background are doing? You know, and it was kind of my first art analysis kind of a moment. What is he screaming at? There's so many things. Why is the sky changing? All these different things. And when we got to the gift shop, they had a small version of the lithograph that Edvard Munch did a couple years later of the Cry. It's called the Cry. It's the same thing, but it's a woodcut. And it's a nice print of that. So I got that for my bedroom and hung it on the wall. They made the costume, the Scream costume, a couple years later. And now we're probably like, this is like 1992, 1993. I heard that the costume had actually been out longer. That was the first time I had seen it. And I bought that mask at Walgreens. And it had the little head with the little hangy things that are in the movie. And then the movie came out in 1996, and I had already been that costume like 2 years in a row. So when the movie came out, it was like they finally made a movie about my costume. Like, this is so cool. You know, my character now is that Michael Myers, and I had already seen the Halloween movies at that time. My dad loved horror movies. It wasn't weird.
His family took Halloween very, very, very seriously.
Very seriously. It was a huge celebration.
But you basically grew up in Haddonfield.
And yeah, my town was in Illinois and looked like Haddonfield, Illinois.
Yeah.
And everyone celebrated it kind of the same way. Mm-hmm. You know, jack-o'-lanterns in every window and things like that. We would decorate the yard, and my dad would wear a witch mask that he had, and he would sit in the yard and, you know, keep his hand over the bowl of candy and act like a stuffed dummy, like parents tend to do.
Yeah.
And then jump at the children when they go to get the candy. And I would stand out there in my Scream costume. Well, when they made the movie, I thought that, oh my God, they made my character. So obviously, I was into it, and my parents would buy me all of anything Ghostface related. We had like little Christmas lights, even at Christmas, hung up with little Scream faces on them. I thought that was so cool. And there were little hanging ones. The restaurant we would go to, I'd be like, my guys, why can't I get one of those? We can never find them, but it was always a thing. And this year I just got a tattoo of Ghostface, which is cool. But Living Dead doll version of Ghostface, which is super cute because he's not like those little Living Dead dolls that have those weird deformed heads.
Although they do make a Wizard of Oz line of Living Dead dolls, and I don't have them.
They're cute. Right, Christmas shopping. Right. But that's pretty cool. Speaking of, we also have the clothed Nika figure, the new one that just came out. Even it has the voice changing box and the knife and the cell phone. This one is really sweet. He's got the boots. It's amazing how much action figures have gone up in price. Even when these came out, they were like $10, $14, sometimes $20. Like MSRP on this is like $35.99 or something.
And we have it for 30?
30, I think. I don't think it's fair to sell an action figure for like $40.
I know.
But they have done a really good job with the clothes and everything, like the old Mego toys.
Which also, cool. To go with your Scream Ghostface thing, if you guys didn't know, Matt waited in line and got to meet Nev Campbell and has a guitar signed by Nev Campbell, so that's pretty sweet.
Also, yeah.
If we're going
Which
Scream.
Might be part of the reason I like Nev Campbell as much as I do.
Right, probably.
The whole thing. And Halloween was the other one that I grew up with. So we have these in stock, and they're amazing. This is the Halloween 2 figure, but the detail on it is amazingly cool. I saw they made those the box ones that you see at Target with the flip open boxes, and some of the
Yeah.
box art is really neat on those, but the action figures aren't as cool as these.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the sculpts on these and the clothing design, plus all the accessories.
Right.
He even comes with the needle that he uses and gets the nurse in the neck. Super cool, and he's got the bloody eyes, right? Is the other head?
The other
Yeah,
head.
the gunshot eyes.
Yeah.
Super cool. Super cool.
Right. Billy asked today how come he had another hand, and I said, well, he needs the hand that can hold the accessories.
Right, and the other one for looming.
Right.
Yes, because he needs to loom.
He has to loom.
Yes, constantly looming, and not like.
Right, not making clothes.
Not making clothes.
Blankets and stuff.
Right, Michael Myers making blankets.
Right. Now I want somebody to draw me some artwork of Michael Myers looming, and like looming champion 2020, but it's like him at a loom.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Artists get on that for us.
Right.
Private commission.
Right. Where's Juan on this live stream?
Right.
While I'm throwing
Absolutely.
that out there.
A nice looming Michael Myers. Get it? He's looming.
Looming.
And that you said blankets. I saw 2 great Halloween blankets this year.
The VHS one.
There's a VHS tape that looks like the VHS folded out of a blanket, and then the Curse of Michael Myers cover poster.
Oh right.
As a blanket.
Yes.
And Curse of Michael Myers actually ended up becoming my favorite. That was the one that had just come out when, like it was the first one to come out after I saw the movie, so it was exciting for me to go see that one. I love that story. I think it's creepy, and the cult of everything is super neat.
The Cult of Thorn.
The Cult of Thorn.
That's not one of my questions. It was originally going to be one. BJ said that Captain Kirk figure looks weird and the uniform is all wrong. There was, last year at Halloween Comic Fest, there was one of the kids' comics that was actually the story of, it's Michael Myers, he's a Halloween costume.
Yeah.
And they can't figure out what to get him, and he eventually gets his costume, and it's Captain Kirk.
Right, he just gets a Captain
Kirk costume.
Yeah. And the last panel is him dressed up just in like the gold Starfleet uniform.
And it's adorable because it's like his friend Freddie is helping him.
Yeah. The Junior High Horrors came out last year for Halloween Comic Fest, I think. I think it was a free one.
Yes, which we'll talk about, I guess, in a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You want to do the button thing?
The thingy?
You want to do the thingy?
Hit the thingy?
Do the thing?
They do. They want me to.
They definitely do.
Giveaway time!
Oh, I'm still on top of them. I keep going, where are the giveaways? Okay, so, you know what? Let's do
giving that away? That's sweet.
Yeah,
this is a really good time to do this.
Because we just talked about it, so let's do it.
We just talked about it, and we're going to give away a copy because we're crazy like that. This is Madame Satan that just came out this week.
Yeah. So
you guys get this brand new comic book.
Those of you who were like, I want that, this is your chance. And all you have to do is tell me, what gift did Alfred Hitchcock give Tippi Hedren's daughter on the set of The Birds? Yeah. If you know that, you get this book.
Yep.
Seemed like a fitting question.
Absolutely.
Oh, no, I could have gone with the other question. That might have been good too. Anyway, what gift did Alfred Hitchcock give Tippi Hedren's daughter on the set of The Birds?
Hedren?
I thought it was Hedren.
Tippi Hedren?
I don't know. I always said it was Hedren. I guess it's where you put the break. This is something we talk about all the time, is that where you put the break in the north and where the south puts the break in things is always different.
Well, he and head. Hedren.
Right.
Heed and head.
Right, but there's not two.
It's not like insurance and insurance.
But right, because we're breaking the syllable in a different spot. You're breaking it at the he and then saying drun. I'm saying Hedren because I'm breaking it after the D.
Oh, head.
Head run.
Head run.
Mm-hmm.
He drawn. Mm-hmm. Okay. Instead of head drawn and head drawn.
Right.
Head drawn would be insurance versus insurance. It's ridiculous conversation.
Mary says a doll of her mom.
Wow, Mary!
Yes.
Nailed it!
Who wanted this comic anyway?
Doll of her mom. And that's weird, right? You give Tippi Hedren's daughter...
And the doll was in a coffin.
And the doll was in a coffin. They give this to the daughter, and the daughter is...
Do you remember?
I don't know. No, I don't know who that person was.
We talked about this the other day.
I didn't know who it was still.
Dakota Fanning's mom.
No,
or not Dakota Fanning. Dakota Johnson.
Right, that was where I was going with it. I wanted to know who the mom was first.
Was Melanie Griffith.
Melanie Griffith.
Yes.
And then, of course, the daughter is
Dakota Johnson.
Dakota Johnson,
From-
who is in Suspiria and is dating Chris Martin now. And
Yeah.
we just watched the remake of Suspiria,
Yes.
which is a great movie until everybody started dying to Tom York singing.
Right. We did
Which-
not need Tom York singing in that
No.
movie. That movie was great until
No. Trent Reznor, we talk about him all the time, making the great Watchmen soundtrack, things
Yes.
like that you guys all love. You didn't hear Trent Reznor singing during the Watchmen
right.
ever.
Right.
No, you didn't. We didn't need Tom York. Honestly, if death came out of the ground and started killing people, I'd be like, Tom York's playing, fucking kill me too.
Right. It
And
wasn't
I mean, I like Radiohead, but like, this is not the time.
Lori's not in the booth on the phone with Dr. Manhattan and you're hearing, "You are the perfect drug. The perfect drug."
Exactly.
Like, no, that didn't
Like,
happen.
that would completely ruin
Ruin
the
the
fucking
moment.
movie. And it's like a cool song that Tom York wrote for the movie. They could have just
It
vocals.
could have been no vocals during the scene, and then during the post credits, they could have played
Throw
Tom
this
York.
weekly movie review in here. It's a split weekly movie review just
Right.
because we have to shit on Tom York a little bit. I do like Tom York's music. I think that he is the direct aftermath and answer to Bjork.
Yes.
Tom York's music
It
sounded
even
like
sounds like yours.
it does now. It does
No, I
after
mean his name.
right. Yeah, Tom York Bjork. It's funny. After like OK Computer and around that time, he did Dancer in the Dark with Bjork, and then all of a sudden everything has sounded like homogenic.
Yeah.
And all of those, there's a lot of like posts and things from Bjork that end up in his music. Go and listen to The Hunter by Bjork if you don't believe me. If you haven't heard enough Bjork to know that it's Radiohead, I know we're totally off
I know.
here, but at the same time, fuck you, Tom York. You didn't need to sing over the end of fucking Suspiria.
Right, and it's like this power moment, and then Tom York comes in like, oh, 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 oh. Yeah, you're right. Wait, I gave him too much stuff.
And you're like, what? I want to die too. I want
Right.
to die too in some static, trippy motion thing that didn't also need to be too. I don't know why they did that with the film thing. It's like Hereditary. It's all good up until Act 3.
Right. Right, and that's Act 6 first.
Right, Act 6.
Which, like, Acts 1 through 5.5
Cool.
were great.
Cool. Even the
And
epilogue.
The epilogue
It's
is
cool.
great. I like the epilogue. The epilogue had so much heart for a horror movie.
Honestly, right up until Tom York started singing.
Right. Well, that was before the epilogue.
They could have left it with like really fast cuts with like blood effects
Right.
and screaming the whole time, and I would have been like, "What the fuck is going on? This
Right.
is disgusting!" And not actually shown the death, but just the blood splatters going everywhere
Instead,
and
you were
everyone
laughing.
dying. Instead, I was cracking the fuck up because I'm like, "Why is death killing people?" To Tom York, I want to die also.
Right. It was
And
awful.
again, I gotta keep saying, I'm really trashing Tom York here. I really like Hilda the Thief. I really like Amnesiac. Kid A is my third favorite. I really like Morning Bell. I like Spinning Plates.
Right, that's
I
way
like
farther
Pyramid
than I would've
Song.
gone-
Right,
gone
packed like
off.
sardines in a crushed tin box. Freaking amazing. That song rocks. 2 plus 2 is 5. 2 and 2 is 5. Awesome, awesome songs. But at the same time, I did not need it in my Suspiria.
Right, there's a reason why Tom York doesn't do all of the soundtracks.
Absolutely. And, probably why he might not for a little while either. But people tend to like that Suspiria remake movie. It was pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Also, if you guys don't know, the original Suspiria is on Tubi, which is a free, TUBI is a free download app for your thing. You might have some commercials in there, but you can watch the original Suspiria,
And more importantly, you can watch Mummies Alive, the cartoon.
which is also awesome. We haven't done enough shout outs to Mummies Alive on this live stream. If you guys are Ninja Turtles fans, which we're going to talk about in a minute, Mummies Alive. Look that up. Super sweet. Ramses comes back reincarnated as a child in the 90s. And so they raise 4 mummies from the dead who are like the Ninja Turtles with their colors and everything.
Except they had a girl and she was badass.
She's awesome. Nefertina,
Yeah.
Killer.
Nefertina.
claw attack.
Oh,
Super
she's the
sweet.
best. And she, like, is the car driver, so she's, like, getaway car kind of driver, and she's always... I love her. She's great.
Yeah, the Ra Mobile or something.
Yeah. Something ridiculous like that.
People who haven't seen this are like, what in the hell? There's Ninja Turtles that are mummies?
Yes.
Yes.
The answer is yes.
Yes. Same animation style as the Ninja Turtles cartoon. Mummies.
Same feel as the Ninja Turtles.
Same feel, same
Yeah.
kind of silliness,
great.
a lot of jokes. Yeah.
A lot of heart.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a weekly movie review. So obviously we talked about Suspiria
Yeah.
and now Mummy's Alive.
Right. So you want to talk about your actual movie?
Yeah, the
review
movie,
for
the movie that I watched and Shannon watched some of is Wes Craven's Swamp Thing.
Yes.
Wes Craven, if you guys didn't know, after he made The Hills Have Eyes, the original, in 1977, he made a Swamp Thing remake. Well, he made Last House on the Left in 1972, which is a terrible movie. It's a slasher movie, which instead of slashing people, they rape people.
Yeah, it's awful.
It's mind scarring. We recommend not seeing it if you don't have to. Know that it's one of those great horror movies because it kind of is in the same time as Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You have Last House on the Left, like the end of the extreme era of horror, and that kind of goes into the camp. In the late 70s, we get Halloween in 1978, right. Hills Have Eyes in 1977, which is also pretty extreme.
Right, like pre-code.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Which there's rape in Hills Have Eyes too. And then, you know, kind of get rid of the rape thing in the 80s, and we go into, oh, if kids have sex, they get murdered. Mm-hmm. You know, and that whole sort of Saw, pre-Saw, right. The guilt thing, kill you for your guilt, Catholic guilt, or right. whatever you want to call it. But he did do Swamp Thing in 1982, 10 years after Last House on the Left. 2 years before Nightmare on Elm Street.
And 3 years before, or 1 year before Alan Moore's Swamp Thing run started?
And a year before Alan Moore's Swamp Thing run started, which we found to be the most interesting. So you have Wes Craven doing this movie, which, again, still B-movie director at the time. But at the same time, a Swamp Thing movie. And the only Swamp Thing movie. Right. Besides its sequel, its super ultra campy sequel, but the only true Swamp Thing movie, and it's before Alan Moore's run on it, which we all know is like the seminal work of Swamp Thing. I have been rereading Len Wein and Bernie Wrightson's original Swamp Thing, and it's super awesome. The film does go into that. We did a book club. If anybody knows our book club thing, obviously we'll talk about that in a little bit too. We did a book club on issue number 1 of Swamp Thing, and Alec working with his wife to develop the serum to, plants.
Mass produce plants for the future of
mankind, right? Exactly, and and make them stronger plants that can withstand anything and grow anywhere, so that farms are sustainable. All a good, eco-friendly thing. Yeah, they keep that in the film.
Except it's his
sister instead of his wife, and the people still come in trying to steal the formula from him, and they set him on fire by accident, and he runs off into the swamp, burning alive, and regenerates from the swamp into a swamp monster. Yeah. Came out the same month as Man-Thing, original character. If you guys over there are Marvel fans for Man-Thing. Anyway.
Right, and they were friends. The people creating Swamp Thing and Man-Thing were like roommates, I think.
Yeah, they were like roommates or something. Split off their own things. They were both in development at the same time. And Man-Thing came out in a magazine, and Swamp Thing came out in House of Secrets 92. A month apart from each other. Technically, Man-Thing's magazine came out a month before, but at the same time, they would have been in development at the same time. The guys probably talked about cool swamp creatures. And for that, I love them equally the same. I think Swamp Thing has a cooler story, and I think Man-Thing has cooler powers. But swamp stories in general are super cool.
Right. I love the heart of Swamp Thing.
Yes.
He's just... And
the literal peanut heart that he has?
No. Okay. The, emotional, just him, and, especially, that Batman annual where it's him and Batman talking, and it's just, I don't know, there's just the way that Swamp Thing...
Batman 23.
Yeah. It's not an annual, that's right. But I just love Swamp Thing coming in and telling people, we have to save the world, this is how we're going to do it. I feel the pain of the world. It's the same things that I like about Poison Ivy, where they're I can feel the pain of the world and I want to make this difference, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. It's great. Brian said the 2009 Last House on the Left is the only movie to ever make a stomach turn before you get too far away from the Last House on the Left.
Yeah. Brian, did you see the 1972 Last House on the Left? Have you seen I Spit on Your Grave? The original, not the remake. The remake was not as gruesome as the original, in my opinion, of I Spit on Your Grave. Cannibal Holocaust?
Wait, don't watch that. I thought Last House on the Left 2009 made your stomach turn. Don't watch Cannibal Holocaust.
Don't watch I Spit on Your Grave, the original. And for me, don't watch Tusk.
Right.
Tusk made my stomach turn, and I assume that Human Centipede would do the same thing for me. People being sewn into other things
right,
is
I don't need to ever talk about
me.
Human Centipede ever.
Right, and that's what Tusk is too,
Right.
except with the walrus.
Right.
And Kevin Smith laughing at it, and everyone laughing at him for being a walrus made out of human skin with his legs sewn into his face, and then people making fun of him is like, it's disgusting.
Stop talking about it.
Right, mind scarring. That to say, Wes Craven's Swamp Thing. Right, good movie. The female kind of damsel in distress. She ends up becoming mad, but is like also kind of a strong character who's firing the guns. But then, like at the end of it, is like save me, Swamp Thing.
Right, she's like strong until he becomes Swamp Thing, and then they needed to make her not strong so that she'd need him.
Right.
Because
like,
when it's her and Alec is just Alec, she's the one that's like, oh my god, there's people coming for us, and like punches them all out and steals their guns and like takes them down and like goes to save Alec. But then once he becomes Swamp Thing, she's like, oh, Swamp Thing.
She's running and she runs, and they're chasing her in the car, and they get through and they get onto the road, and Swamp Thing runs out and stands in front of the car, and the car hits him, and he's like a tree, and then he rips the roof off the Jeep and pulls everybody out of it and throws them everywhere and kills everybody. And she's like, oh my god, I'm so scared of these people. And oh, Swamp Thing, you just saved me so hard. And something else that's hard is all of the wood in this forest. And it like turns into this like romance Wes Craven thing.
Right, she's got the like white nightgown on at one point.
Right.
I was like, how is that even relevant?
Alice Cable.
Right.
Looked it up. She is not in the comics at all.
No, but Cable, the last name is Matt's last name in the comics.
Matt Cable.
Matt Cable, which is Abby Arcane's boyfriend.
Right.
Before Alec Holland.
Yes.
Before Alec, she's with Matt Cable.
And then Matt Cable comes looking for her and ends up messing things up.
So they kind of took the like A name and the Cable name and they like put it together.
Because there is no Abby and there is no Matt.
Right.
And the love interest wife is now a sister.
Right. They didn't want to make it all convoluted with a bunch of relationships that they had to pull out.
Right.
It sounds like.
Right. So they just made it like damsel in distress kind of.
But the sister still has the same fate that the wife has in the first few panels of the first book of Swamp Thing.
Right.
So I was like, oh, at least we're not gonna. We still fridged her.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had this like smart scientist woman, and we still did that thing
in the comics.
Right, and in the movie.
Yeah.
It happens exactly the same way in the movie as it
But
did.
it is not his motivation. He never brings up the sister ever again.
Well, no, but he does initially react. So yeah, it's not his motivation for his behavior later on, but that's just bad writing. But he does in the moment. He ends up becoming Swamp Thing because he reacts to the sister. So, Tusk felt like they were trying to make a body horror comedy. That's awful.
That is true. This one also feels like there's a lot of body horror in it. In the whole like arm regeneration thing, if you guys have seen this, there's also the transformations when Arcane starts giving all the people the Swamp Thing juice to turn them into whatever, but it turns them into his minions. And I know Ram sent us a private message about the TV show and the 90s USA TV show, and then there was a short-lived animated series that used Wild Thing as its theme.
Swamp Thing!
You are amazing! You guys couldn't have thought of something better, but it's like
you are a plant
you are, you are a man thing. Wait a minute.
Right, they did too.
Right, at least amazing doesn't have thing in it.
Right,
that was thing and amazing, right? Really rhyme. It's a little...
Which Nigel said, shout out for recommending the DC Universe Swamp Thing show. It's perfect for this time of year.
DC Universe Swamp Thing is the best screen adaptation of Swamp Thing. Absolutely. But I was excited to see when her hair went white. You knew that was coming in season 2 or something. Yes. Because Abby has dark hair in it. And you know her hair is going to go white at some point.
I was waiting for that.
They were going so much on the Alan Moore thing. We're not talking about that right now.
I was also waiting for Floronic Man.
Right.
And I'm not getting a season 2 to see that, so I'm super upset because I like that actor as Jason Woodrue. I thought he was perfectly cast. That's, again, another thing. But, yes, this movie...
As you're saying, that animated series, we started saying in the theme, had Arcane as a demon monster, and then all of his minions were the different
Right.
monster things. And, up until seeing this film, you don't kind of understand why he has, an army of these monster characters. Right. And it's like, oh, because he started giving the Swamp Thing solution to all of them. Mm-hmm. And they all turn into these different kind of weird Swamp Thing-esque monster creations. Right? Which she ends up turning into a wolf in the end of this movie, and it's completely ridiculous.
Completely ridiculous.
At that point. This movie gets more ridiculous as it goes on. It almost starts like a serious movie.
It started out fine. And
yeah, it starts as kind of Predator.
I've seen the beginning multiple times because we tried to watch it before, mm-hmm. and you fell asleep in the beginning, and I was like, oh, this is really good, and then I fall asleep at the end. And the same thing happened this time where we tried to watch it, and I was like, the beginning is really good, and then it slowly falls off further and further, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. And then I started to watch again at the end, and I was like, it was way better at the beginning. And, that's how I feel about it.
Right. It does kind of go into this body horror kind of a turn, and you see guts open up and gooey plant things come out for a minute. And it's like, oh, here's the Wes Craven of it all, and there's some cool transformations. Right. The monster in the end is just ridiculous. Right. The Hills Have Eyes original movie characters looked cooler than the Swamp Thing. Though I have to give it to the makeup department. A thing that I said is, especially on the low angle shots of Swamp Thing, there's a lot of shots of Swamp Thing in this. He's not in the dark, he's in full light.
Right, it's bright. He's
right there,
swamp.
Really bright. Full on rubber suit. Mm-hmm. Face that looks exactly like the Bernie Wrightson's drawings.
Right, you brought that up, that it looked just like Bernie's drawings, especially when he looks down at you.
Exactly, and there's consistency across the entire film of the Swamp Thing shots, where it's like, he's getting a lot of screen time here. They didn't shoot this all in one day.
Yeah.
So obviously they had to put that makeup on several times throughout filming, and they always nailed it 100%. It looked a lot better than Josh Broham as Thanos CGI'd. They could have used a note from Wes Craven's book and from Swamp Thing and fucking put some makeup on Josh Broham's face and made him look like a cool Thanos.
And then we could have actually seen Josh Brolin's amazing acting.
Then we could have seen his acting. You get an amazing actor and then fucking CGI over them, and it's like, what the hell, man? But, so yes, the Swamp Thing makeup does look better than Josh Broham. Yeah, as Thanos. Yeah, absolutely. And, I have nothing to complain about that. I mean, the bodysuit looks weird. There's a couple of close-ups of Swamp Thing's hands where you can see that it's latex gloves.
Right. And you can definitely see, his nose is prosthetic.
Yeah, but it's that, skeleton nose.
Right, it's like the Voldemort, half nose.
Exactly.
Thing.
Well, it's like your cartilage is all gone and you have that half nose, but then it, the little bit of a plant thing.
Right.
And that's totally that Bernie Wrightson design that I
loved. Right, it looks so much like that drawing.
Super cool, right? Like the cover of Swamp Thing 9.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know, Google machines. Super great. There's actually a point, I think, where he turns and it's looking up, and the sky's not orange, but it's pretty much an exact homage to the cover of Swamp Thing 9.
And he doesn't have, it's not a mask. And so the fact that there's a suit and there's not a gigantic line of suit to makeup is one of the things that they did a really great job. Yeah, because they really have it taper off well to where and they put the moss and everything on him, so it to a point where it looks like there's this plant growing up his neck, but really it's the suit coming to an end.
Right.
If you know costume design, but they did such a good job where it's they could have just had a line. If it was being a low budget film, you would expect nowadays they'd just have a line across it and be like, well, it is what it is.
Totally. And it's not bad for the first attempt of the Swamp Thing on screen. It's 1982. Right. He turns like this and the suit ripples like a shirt. Mm-hmm. It does that. But then Dick Durock comes back. She's the actor who played Swamp Thing in this and in Return of the Swamp Thing 2 or whatever it's called, Return of the Swamp Thing Part 2, The Revenge. He comes back to play him there, and then he also plays him in the USA series. And by the USA series, I think they've really figured it out. Yes. He doesn't look as Bernie Wrightson in the face because he doesn't have the bald thing. He has more of a top thing. They've also done Parliament of Trees had been written in the meantime, which is Swamp Thing Volume 2, Alan Moore, and
And I feel they started this movie and then they were like, oh, hey, by the way, this is where the comics are going with Swamp Thing. And then they were like, oh, we have to make the Abby character more damsel in distress, like halfway through production or something. And that's why the sudden change, because Alan Moore's Abby is not that strong of a character. And
No.
I think for me, the problem with that, Suze, is like maybe you read it and you thought she was back at home. I read Scott Snyder first.
Right.
And Abby is so strong in Scott Snyder's.
Badass motorcycle
She's
chick.
so awesome.
Yeah.
Like, she shows up and she saves him, and she's like, come with me if you want to live.
Pretty much
thing.
exactly.
And he's like, I don't know who you are. And she's like, I'm the people that's gonna save you. Like, I don't need swamp monsters to save me. I'm gonna save swamp monsters.
Or she said, get on the effing bike.
Right.
And let's get out of here.
And she's got the, like, pixie cut white hair, and she's like a badass. And then I went back, I guess it's got the black streak and the white hair.
Right.
It's so
cool.
And then you got, and then I go back and I went back and I read Alan Moore's, and I was like, why is Abby fainting all the time? What, did Stan Lee write this? Come on. It's just expecting Swamp Thing to be like, hey, little lady.
Right,
like,
but she shouldn't put past Alan Moore.
Right, you can't put it past Alan Moore.
No.
I mean, I'm just happy she wasn't raped, I guess.
Right, exactly. I mean,
like,
Alan Moore, not really known for strong feminism in his books.
Right.
But great character development, cool art in there, cool concepts.
I do like the art in Alan Moore's Swamp Thing.
Floronic Man is sweet.
Super sweet.
Yeah. But, you know, this movie is definitely one of those ones if you're just looking for a horror-based superhero movie. That's actually why we picked this one for this live stream, so we can kind of talk about Wes Craven films.
Yeah.
And speaking of Scream,
Right.
and if you're in your nightmare closet cosplay, as it were.
Right, it's not really a closet. I mean, I guess it is because this was already in our closet, but it is also actually the costume.
It's pretty much the costume.
I have the gloves.
But you don't have like the makeup.
We have the mask.
You have the mask, but you don't have the makeup on.
No.
Right, that's where the closet.
It's like casual.
Casual
cosplay. Casual Freddy.
Right.
Ram says, rip Dick Durock, who died in 2009.
Yep. Absolutely.
From 1937. Wow, he was old when he made Swamp Thing.
Yeah, and he had made a ton of movies.
He's
a stuntman. He is a stuntman. He'd done hundreds and hundreds of movies already, and went on to do hundreds of movies after that. Yeah.
In his 40s and 50s.
Yeah, still going. But great choice for Swamp Thing. Also, a different actor from Alan Holland, which I think has been Alec Holland, which has been pretty consistent across all the Swamp Thing stuff.
Yeah.
They don't use the same guy.
Right.
Obviously, hulking giant.
Right. I liked the Alec in the show.
I did too.
I thought he was a really good, and I mean this one too. He's a little bit more. This one's a little bit more Playboy.
Yeah.
Like he's trying
definitely.
real hard with his like hitting on her thing, like from like the first second. I liked, and I didn't ever get that connection. That was something that's different from the show. Is like he's trying so hard to like hit on her, and then he just kisses her, and I was like, what is this crap?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, they're just making Alec like a playboy. And what I like about the show, Alec, is they stayed up all night talking. They developed a relationship. So when
they had time to do it, it's a show.
I mean, but it's still the same, like, one day kind of thing. And they actually showed them having conversation. And they skip. Like, it's like, oh, and now, oh my God, it's this time kind of thing.
Right, and that first episode is the length of this movie.
Right. But I mean, and just showing that it was about conversation and not like some random, I have no idea who you are, but I'm so excited, I'm going to kiss you, and now we have this emotional connection. Having them build it by building a friendship type thing, like even if I was going to make a Swamp Thing movie, I might have her like come in and go like, not a full act of them like developing a relationship, but like half an act of them developing a friendship. Because when he becomes Swamp Thing, it's like, well, why does he care to save her? He doesn't even know her. Why is everything around the idea of saving her? And in the show, I'm like, oh, this makes sense because they've kind of developed it, and he was like ready to see where it was going to go, and he's like, I have this connection with you. I've stayed up all night talking to you. And
they ate like a weird at-home dinner thing.
Right, they just had like, all these
and,
moments, and it was like, it was like, oh, this is, and you're into all the same things as me, and like I finally found like my person.
Right, she's interested in like all of his science and experiments, and he explains it, she understands it.
Right,
cool.
And so he felt like he finally found his person. She feels like that. So the whole idea of like her still being drawn to him, even more so, like her being drawn to him as Swamp Thing. Like I don't understand why you would be drawn to Swamp Thing if you didn't already have a relationship with Alec being formed. It's like an
Right.
emotional
She's
connection.
like, oh my
Alec.
God! Oh, you're Alec. Oh, you're kind of a skis to
Right,
begin
you were
with.
skeezy. I don't want you
Thanks
around.
for
Go
saving
away.
my life.
Right, it was nice to meet you. Like, I
Right.
hope, you know, go green.
Right. There's a part in there where, in this film, where he saves her and breaks the car up and everything, kills all the people, and then he looks at her and she's like, well, shoo, go on,
Yeah.
go on. And I really wish he was like, it's me, Alec. And she's like, yeah, I know.
I still want you to leave.
Skis bag.
Right, because
Now disgusting swamp monster.
Right.
You got to go.
Because in the movie, that's how I felt. I was like, if he came to me and he was like, it's me, Alec, I'd be like, okay, bye.
Right, bye. You weren't that great to begin
right.
with.
But like TV show Alec, I'd be like, oh my God, Alec.
Yeah, oh
like,
my God, it's you.
I can't.
Are
I would
you
feel like
okay?
her, where
Yeah.
she's like, I have to.
They
to
built
help him.
that, and I don't know if this movie didn't have the time to do it. This one probably could have cut Arcane's
Werewolf.
no, Arcane's the werewolf thing. At the end of the day, it's fine. It's like the final conflict thing. But Arcane has a party in this movie where he has all of his rich businessman friends over, and there's like a 4-minute scene of belly dancers who get topless, and they're like dancing in their thongs or whatever. So little kids probably aren't going to watch this one,
right,
because it's unnecessary, the amount of nudity that does come up in it.
Right, like Abby swimming in the swamp naked.
Right, she's like rejuvenating herself and like takes a swamp
or she's not
bath.
Abby, but whatever, Allison or whatever her name is.
Alice Cable, and she's taking a bath in the swamp or whatever, and you're like, is this necessary? Because they're not doing anything. She's just washing her boobs.
Right, she's just there with boobs, and I was like, I don't understand what the point of this is.
This doesn't play any role into the thing at all. But then, of course, I guess it's like a Serenity, because then the scene immediately after is like everything goes to hell.
Right.
So it's like the last minute of Serenity before the whole third act starts.
I don't need to be naked to be serene.
Totally. They could have done it a lot of ways. But I guess people in the early 80s are going to see the horror movie, thinking it's a horror movie. They want to see boobs, like Friday the 13th. Right. Wes Craven. A lot of boobs and rape before, obviously. You think there's going to be
like,
boobs.
what am I going to do?
This film, though, could have cut, 8 minutes of boob footage and put 8 minutes of character development between the two of them to make us feel for the characters and give her a reason why.
I would have enjoyed it more.
Absolutely. It would have been way better.
It would have been way better, and I think that was really the point that was missing, because I didn't get the connection on either side, so I didn't understand. Other than that, I know Swamp Thing. I didn't understand why he cared to save her and why she cared to like save/be with him. It didn't make any sense. Like, and because she didn't even, when he saves her, she doesn't even have the like, oh my God, you're my savior, like kind of thing. She says like the shoe go away, and so it's like she's not even like, it's not even a savior complex.
Right.
It's like she literally just chooses to stay with him based off the fact that like he's this guy that she had 5 seconds of a moment with.
I guess. And now, right,
it doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't really make any sense. But then he does save her at the end, and they're both like chained up on like those like cross things.
Yeah.
Witch cross or whatever they call it. And they're chained up on those in Arcane's dungeon, and he grows his arm back, and that's body horror. You see the little plant thing grow out and go towards the window, and he's holding his hand up towards the light. He holds his good hand up, and it grows the arm back, and you're like, okay, cool, photosynthesis. And then he breaks out of the thing and grabs her in classic Hollywood style, throws her on his shoulder, and like goes down in this pit, and the little henchman dude leads them out, and they jump into a whirlpool and come out into this magical swamp world that is filled with dry ice, apparently, because everything is bubbling just nicely on the surface, and it's all like a blue magical swamp. And then werewolf demon man Arcane comes out with a sword. It's like rah, rah.
Right, it's literally that rah, and the bad motion. Like I can't see what I'm doing, so they told me to just do this.
My costume.
Right, it's like the creature from the Black Lagoon video. The fuck this thing.
Right,
like,
and fuck this and fuck this. Like, it's like when Creature of the Black Lagoon is swimming, and they have to turn the entire thing because the head of the suit is fused together to the body, and he's like, ah.
It's like
it's that bad, but that was like 1958.
And this is 1982.
1982, right? So you think they would have learned some things, but I mean, obviously low budget. Mm-hmm. Alan Moore hasn't written Swamp Thing yet, so it's not like a giant, massive, big title, right? before they wrote sophisticated suspense on the title of it.
We watched a thing where somebody was talking about the making of this movie.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the thing, but we saw them. I can't remember who it was, but we saw their whole documentary about the like background of him coming to them and saying, "I want to make this movie."
Right.
It's
I don't know where it was.
Yeah, I don't either.
It's cool. Again, a Wes Craven movie that you guys may not have seen. See it.
Good for Halloween week.
Absolutely.
Fun.
Come by the shop. I'm already lending it out to one person. I already got one lend out on it. But the Matt's personal home video library can be rented out to you guys if you want. You can hit me up.
Vegas ask Matt
it's
because
not
I'm the
streaming.
one that's like, I can't do it.
Right. I don't want to do this.
No, I'm just like, I can't do it. I can't let movies out of my sight. I don't
Can't
get
let movies
back.
out. Right.
I don't ever get them back when I lend them out. I also had a ton. I was an English major.
I'll track you down.
Right. I was an English major in school, and everybody would come to me instead of having to buy the books for their classes, and then I'd never get them back. And they destroyed my Bell's Library hopes and dreams at a very young age.
Right. Because you lost more books than you were getting in.
I was losing more books than I was getting in. And then my mom was giving away my books that I left at home while I was at college. So it's like all my books were disappearing while I'm paying literally full like $19.99 for paperback versions of Frankenstein that you can get for $1.50 at half price, but we didn't have one in the town. While I'm paying that much money for my books, they're like disappearing. Also, movie review that I'll throw in there. I watched the Mary Shelley movie this week.
Oh yeah. Well, I was gonna say really quick. If you do borrow a movie from me, I will definitely 1 week after I'll say, "How'd you like the movie?" And you say, "I haven't watched it yet." And the next week I'll say, "Why haven't you watched the movie?" And I go, "Man, you suck that you haven't watched that movie." And then I'll go, "TikTok, you got 1 more week before I'm coming for you, buddy." And you come in next time and you're like, "I don't have the movie," and I'm like, "Well, you gotta give it back. Time's up. Time's up." Movie. And then I'll be like, "Do you want me to deliver your comics to you for free? But I gotta get my movie back." So I get pretty defensive about them pretty quick, just so you know. So if you do borrow one from
you got 2 weeks.
It's like Netflix. You got to mail it back, and then not just before you get the new one.
Because if you don't know, Netflix used to mail movies.
Netflix used to mail movies. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I watched the Mary Shelley movie this week. It's literally called Mary Shelley. It's about Mary Shelley's life. And I almost feel like we shouldn't even call her Mary Shelley because she wasn't even Mary Shelley yet when she wrote Frankenstein.
Right.
And but it's all about her life. It's her getting with with Percy and
Percy Jackson.
No, Percy Shelley. And it's their whole thing, and it's obviously like a romance movie, so it's a lot of that. But if you liked like the Marie Antoinette movie that had Kirsten Dunst in it, or any of those like period
Sofia Coppola movies.
Well, yes, but
is it a Sofia Coppola movie?
It's not, and it's not as brightly colored and stuff as that. But I love just getting to see this woman who they don't show a lot because it is one of those romance movies. They don't show a lot of. They show some of her strengths, but they focus more on like her sorrows, and so they show like when she lost her baby, but the whole time you get to see her constantly trying to write books and being surrounded by all of these people. And even when she goes in for the first time to do Frankenstein, they're like, "Hey, don't put your name on it because they won't publish books by women." So she's like, "Well, how am I going to get it published?" And Percy's like, "Take it to my publisher." That's Percy Shelley, is of course this huge poet at the time. So she takes her manuscript in, and they look at it and they read it or whatever, and they say, "Oh, it's curious that the woman who spends her time with Percy Shelley would come in with this story, and it's anonymous, and you're trying to say you wrote it." And she's like, "But I did write it." And they're like, "Sure you did." Right. And they refuse to like give her credit for this thing, and she's like, "But I wrote it." And they're like, "We're not going to publish it unless Percy like says he did it." And then she finally gets a publisher to say that she wrote it, but he has to write, but it's got to be anonymous, and he has to write the introduction. And she's like, "Will you do it?" kind of thing. And she's like, they're like on the outs, they're like super mad at each other at the point. Like that's like the last time they talked to each other. She was like when he does Percy Shelley and Mary.
Oh,
Shelley.
Percy Shelley.
Yeah, at the time this
not
is like
the Impresium writer.
No, well, because he's the one that has to write the intro. Oh. And so Percy has to write the intro in order for them to publish her book, and it's her dad's publishing company, but her dad and her are estranged, so it's not even him. So they end up. It's this great moment where they actually like she just it's this great thing, kind of like in Little Women, where we get to see this woman go in and constantly try to like push to get her book done, and they're like, you couldn't have written this has to be the work of a man. And it's so great because Mary Shelley, being the creator of Gothic fiction in general, creating an entire genre of literature that we did not have, getting to see those moments where she's also had to go through all this stuff where everybody is like, there's no way you could have written it. And there's a thing at the end where they have this moment where the publishing company is having a party and they bring in Percy, and her dad sends the information to her that there's going to be this party, and at it they're like, hey, because she's not talking to her, and Percy are separated and they're not married at the time, and she comes in and she kind of stands in the background, and they're like, oh, we want to congratulate this book sold so well, thank you so much, Percy Shelley, for writing it. And he comes up to talk about it, and he's like, I didn't write this book, this was written by Mary Goodwin wrote this book. She's amazing. Like, she should get all the credit. I had nothing to do with this. And that's actually how she got credit. And then her dad, owning the publishing company, ends up having the book reprinted with her name on it.
Cool.
And it's like, it's this awesome, wonderful thing where we get to see, like, this woman who created this entire genre, like, the struggle that she had to go through. But you also get to see her write the book, and it's so great because she puts the stuff in, and she even takes it to Percy when it's done, and he's like, well, why can't you give hope? And I thought this was really great because I'm always one of those people who's like, yeah, you can have hope in it. And he's like, why don't you make it so that he creates an angel instead of Frankenstein creating this demon monster of a person? Why can't he create an angel? And man can create perfection if they try hard enough. If they put all of their pieces together, they can create perfection. Why don't you give the people some hope? And she looks at him, and their marriage is falling apart, and their child has died, and all of their friends have been like abusive and drunks and this and that. I mean, they're friends with Byron, who's a terrible person. If you guys don't know, Lord Byron was an awful, awful human being. And she's like, what hope did we create? We were given all the tools to do something wonderful. We had everything before us, and what did you do with it? Everything that you were given, you destroyed. You created something that should have been life. It should have been beautiful. You should have had the chance to do that, and what did you do with it? He's not the monster we are.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that is exactly
the
point of
whole
Frankenstein.
point of the book. Exactly.
And so I was like, that was a great way to like wrap it up for people who may not have like known about Frankenstein. I don't know why you watched this movie if you didn't watch it.
Oh, the humans are the terrible people.
Oh, the man is the monster, not the monster.
Right, the monster.
Right, I'm always offended by the fact that the monster is called the monster because he's the creature.
Called Frankenstein.
No, I'm more offended that you call him Frankenstein.
That's right. I mean, the monster should be called...
But he's not a monster.
Oh, got it.
Right, like I'm offended that he was called by Frankenstein. He's called the monster. I guess Frankenstein calls him his creature.
Right, I don't like when they call the monster Frankenstein.
I hate when you call the monster Frankenstein. Guys, if you want to, like, offend me to no end, call the monster Frankenstein because his name is not Frankenstein.
Right.
He's the creature.
Right, Universal horror things. You have Phantom of the Opera, Dracula, the Wolfman, Frankenstein's monster. And
the Invisible Man.
Oh yeah, the Invisible Man.
The Mummy.
The Mummy. Mm-hmm. Creature from the Black.
Lagoon. Right. But yeah.
And Bride of Frankenstein.
And that's Bride of Wait too.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah.
But it came before Creature from the Black Lagoon,
yes.
which is like 1952 or whatever, 1958. It's like way after. It's been 30 years or whatever since Dracula. That just kind of gets lumped in there with them.
Right, because it's the first of its series, but it's part of Wave 2. It's kind of like the whole Marvel thing. Like Black Panther #1 is not a part of the original like MCU. It's part of like the second, third phase, but it's...
And because they had already done Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein,
right.
Abbott and Costello, Go to Frankenstein's Funeral, Part 4. Like all of that was already over and had celebrated their 15th anniversary by the time that Creature from the Black Lagoon came out. Yeah.
Right, the creature and Dr. Frankenstein both considered him a son of Dr. Frankenstein, which technically would make the creature a Frankenstein, yes.
Mm.
He does eventually become a Frankenstein, but he is not Frankenstein who the book refers to.
Exactly. The book referring to is to the man who
Victor.
Created the creature.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, hope you enjoyed this informative movie mess of horror conversations, I guess, as it were.
Also, I took an entire class on this, on Frankenstein. So I have, like, on Victorian and Gothic literature, and I did an entire paper on Frankenstein.
So you need a place for it.
And so I needed to talk about it.
Right.
Because I love it.
Right.
I love Frankenstein. I love Mary
And
Shelley.
I went to film school, which
Right.
is why we do it.
Film review.
A film review. We should
Yeah.
do a Gothic horror review every week.
I would love it.
Might as well. Giveaway! There it is.
Woohoo!
That's the one. Giveaway time.
Let's give this one. How many more giveaways do you have?
I don't know.
Do we still have 3 giveaways left? 4
Yeah.
giveaways left? I feel like I have a lot.
Yeah.
We have 4
we've
giveaways
done
left?
3. We've done 3 giveaways so
Okay,
far.
if
We've
you
got
say
4
so.
giveaways,
If you
and
say
we're
so.
approaching the 3-hour mark.
Well, then let's do this.
Man, I'm sad that we're giving this away. This is Mr. Crypt.
Yeah, Mr.
I actually
Crypt.
have a copy.
Mr. Crypt from, this is in case you missed it,
From Alterna
Comics.
Comics.
Mr.
Yeah.
Crypt. And
This is a cool, super fun, cute little comic.
yeah, and we'll go with an easier question. Who is Laurie's crush in John Carpenter's Halloween? That's a Google machine question.
Unless you just know.
Right. I do have a Wes Craven's question, and I didn't ask Wes Craven's question because I forgot that I had it on here. So we're going with the Laurie's crush in John Carpenter's Halloween. Google machine. This is actually a really adorable comic. If you guys haven't read it, but it's fun.
It's super fun. I love this. Mr. Crypt needs to do more stuff.
I don't even know if Alterna's still doing stuff. I think the only thing I've seen is it came out on a Wednesday.
And no, he's not fighting Mr. Blood.
And the question was, once again, who is Laurie's crush in John Carpenter's Halloween?
1978.
Right. If you know the answer, you get this comic. Oh, look, there's more.
Little tiny bit.
Also, while those of you who are not looking for the answer, if you guys want to start commenting what you're going to be for Halloween, I would love to hear some Halloween costumes. What are you doing?
I want to measure them out.
Oh, okay.
Make sure they're decently even and stuff.
Cool. Whatever.
I'll give you a little more if you need it.
Don't do that. That's fine.
All right.
Okay. So, yes, question is, who is Laurie's crush in John Carpenter's Halloween? If you know the answer, you get this Mr. Crypt comic.
Y'all are letting me down here.
I know. I'm like, do you guys not
I'm
know?
like screaming the
Yes!
quote from the movie.
Thank you, Brian. I knew I could count on you, Brian. You know all the answers.
Ben Schramer? Laurie, I knew you had a side to you. Mr. Crypt.
Oh, man, Brian, we will hold that for you.
Absolutely.
And Matt will totally do all of the...
Right, and then Ben Schramer is walking across the street in a Mike Myers mask in the beginning of Halloween 2, and bam, they hit him by a car and shoot him dead, and it turns out that he's Ben Schramer. He just bought the same white painted Captain Kirk mask.
That's a shame.
It's a real shame.
That's what you get for being stupid.
Hoping to go to that Halloween dance with Ben Schramer.
Oh, guess that's never going to happen.
Key and collectible issues. We actually don't have that many keys this week, so we're just kind of going to talk about some collectible horror stuff.
Happy Halloween. I still want to know if Facebook will pull us off if I keep singing that song.
Probably not. I think you actually need to play the thing.
I think it's
like
play it.
It's like
because you can do a cover.
Right. It's like, what's that thing? Shazam. Right? Shazam actually recognizes the song, but if you sing the song in Shazam, it won't recognize it. It's like something about the beats and the harmonic detection of it is the same algorithm that Facebook uses.
Well, it's gonna think that I'm like doing Smashing Pumpkins songs or something because Billy Corgan and I have the same high-pitched squeaky voice.
Nah, he's way more nasally than you. Happy Halloween.
The cat's gonna come running. Do I hear Smashing Pumpkins?
Like, oh, what? I love it. Island of Dr. Moreau #1 from Marvel. Cool book. Again, these are just kind of cool collectible horror comics. We actually don't have any pre-code horror in the store. Those books go for hundreds and hundreds and thousands of dollars. So these are all some like kind of cool affordable ones. Is this Charlton Comics? All New Ghostly Tales.
Nice. With
The Devil's Bride. Man, horror covers are so neat. Dare You See. This is The Crow Dead Time #1. which is cool. This, I believe, is the second series of the Crow comics. The Crow is one of those ones that always gets forgotten about.
Unless
Right,
you're talking
or Brandon
about,
Lee.
right, I was gonna say, unless you're talking about Brandon Lee.
Right, and everyone's like, oh, right, Brandon Lee. Oh my God, the Crow. Oh my God.
Right.
It's like, okay. Who's in like the one movie?
Right.
The one movie. Who's good?
Right.
He like what
It was a tragedy, but like.
It was a tragedy, right? It's a terrible thing that had happened. It kind of created a cool thing for the movie. He wasn't that great of an actor in the movie. I hate to say that. He's okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's the greatest ever.
I was gonna side note, Sai and BJ were both talking about like the Frankenstein is the monster is this. You guys are all going way too deep. I'm talking about people who think that his first name and only name is Frankenstein. I think, yes, like familial wise and being the son of Victor and definitely makes him a Frankenstein. I like the way you put that in quotes, BJ, a Frankenstein. But people think his name, like I literally had a student tell me one time that his name was Frank.
You show up at a party with square shoulders on and a suit and your face painted green and bolts in your temples or your neck, which is another point of contention. And everyone's like, dude, Frankenstein, nice costume, brah. And you're like, this is not a Frankenstein.
But I literally had a kid who argued with me and said that they call him Frank the entire book. So I made her read the book and tell me. And if she could bring me anywhere in there where they referred to the creature as Frank, I would give her an A in my class.
Right.
She obviously lost that battle. But she read the book and that was the whole point.
And if it's not in there, you get an F. Do you want to take the gamble on it? Right.
I gave her, they had house points at that school, so I was like,
house wines?
House points? Oh my gosh. I was like, I will give you all of the house points I am allotted to give one human if you can show me where they call him Frank.
Right.
She was like, well, maybe it was Frankie. I was like, it's definitely neither.
Frankie. They didn't put IEs at the end of the name.
It's not the Monster High kids. Good
right.
Well,
Percy and Mary. Frankie.
Right. Go on.
This is Ghosts, New Tales of the Weird and the Supernatural. And look at this cool cover. Horror books have the best covers.
They so do.
Yep. Nice thing about these is that these are all pretty affordable issues. As I say that as we hit like the big number ones. Those ones where they're going to go back down a little bit. These are a little more up there. But they're good things to read for the season, and especially classic ones.
I love that cover.
Oh my God. It's 12 o'clock, the witching hour, which really 3 a.m. is more the witching hour, as we know from The Exorcist and things like that. Cool. Chamber of Darkness.
Brian, you make the live stream more entertaining.
This is written by H.P. Lovecraft. A spine-tingling thriller by H.P. Lovecraft, the master of the macabre. Journey into Mystery. Super cool one. Number 4. This is the second series of Journey into Mystery. Super neat. This is a house mystery, and this is Bernie Wrightson cover.
Wow.
Yeah. Super neat. I love the kid under the bed. There, people talk about covers. People show me covers all the time. People send me covers as messages, and I just want to send this cover back.
Be like, this is
they're like, check out this new Bagley Venom cover, and it's like, yeah, that's cool.
Check out this Bernie Wrightson.
Did you see this Bernie Wrightson House of Mystery with the kid hiding under his 4-poster bed, and the bed all scraggly, and the letters of House of Mystery all green and stuff?
And the Ghost of Christmas Future sitting in the corner.
Right? Absolutely.
Is that Abe Lincoln on the Chamber of Secrets book?
Yes. Yes, it is. It's Time Lincoln. Twilight Zone. Another neat one.
I thought you were going to stop at Twilight, and I was like, what? I knew there was a graphic novel, but I didn't know there was individual comics.
Words went into the copying machine. They came out spelling murder.
Oh my God. Sounds like an Are You Afraid of the Dark episode.
Totally. And isn't Are You Afraid of the Dark just Twilight Zone made for kids?
Right, but that's why it sounds like it's a kid thing.
Absolutely. It's even got Rod Sterling up in the corner.
Yep.
Yeah. Ghosts. We challenge you to read the true tales of the weird and the supernatural. You summon me, and here I am. That's what you get. If you don't believe in ghosts. I am Team Blade in regards to Twilight.
Well, you're not a teenage girl, so that makes sense.
Right. Absolutely.
And as a young adult writer, I am team Twilight in regards to everything because I would not have a job if there was not Twilight.
Because it created the genre.
It definitely did. We
This-
only had middle grade before that.
Yep. This is a weird ongoing series that a lot of people don't really collect. It's the Cult Files of Dr. Spectre. I don't know why nothing has happened with him or where he's showed up. Gold Key put these out in the 60s. 2 savage werebeasts battle to the death, and one is Adam Spectre. Oh, great.
That's fantastic.
A new dimension in suspense, alarming adventures, and this dude is showing up in the snow on a tropical island. But it sure is suspenseful. And these are put out by Harvey Comics. Super cool. 12-cent issues. Super old stuff.
That's awesome.
Yep. This one's neat. This is a really good buy-in for the season. This is a Vault of Evil, and it's only $2. The condition is not great, but sometimes I like reading low-grade comics.
Yeah.
I want to show this up close. It says, "Don't struggle so, mortal. After all, this is just a dream, isn't it? Isn't it?" And she's all tied up.
What does it say about the druids on the bottom? It's like blaming the druids for her problem.
Right. The druids dance at dusk.
Well, that's an attack on paganism.
It's Samhain. That's
Right.
what you do, right?
No.
No.
It's really not. It's definitely not what I do at Samhain. I eat food because it's a harvest festival.
Right. You druid, the barrier between the living and the dead is at its thinnest.
Right, but I'm also at my drunkest, so I don't open up that veil. Because if you're gonna talk to the other side, you do it with respect.
You probably shouldn't be. You should probably be drunk on Devil's Night, which is October 30th. Join me at 7 p.m. to talk about Halloween Man and stuff like that and have a few spirits since it's Devil's Night. Please don't break things in Detroit. This is Halloween Night Dance. It's the variant cover of issue 2.
I love that it finds his
super
face.
cool.
Sorry.
We have to zoom in on his face every week. Just have to zoom in on that.
Oh my god, you're gonna make everybody sick at home.
I know. We're gonna do it. Creepy clown face. This cover is awesome.
Right side's like, warning.
Right, she freaked out when she saw this in the shop. This is a super cool variant. And Halloween comics are super collectible and hard to find. This is...
Is it really down to that low of a price? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not really too much. It also has an embossed cover.
Right.
Right. This is A Chilling Adventures of Sabrina #1.
Woo-hoo.
So if you guys watch the show, this is what the show is based off of, is this book right here.
I always think you're coming back to me and then you're just like
pulling it up so I can have my face in there while I talk about the book.
Sorry.
It does have an embossed cover. You can feel the windows in the house.
That's pretty sweet. No, Brian. Brian said you druids generally burn people on a stake. No, they're usually the ones accused of witchcraft and burned on the stake.
That's usually what happens. And last one, you guys may have watched this show. It's called iZombie. This is an iZombie #1. If you didn't know, the show was based on the comic.
It is. Mm-hmm.
And this is the #1 of that series.
And the girl that they got to play her looks so much like the comic. It's crazy awesome. Yeah, like
kinda
you
like
would
Sabrina.
just... Right, exactly. You would think that... More so than Sabrina.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You would just think that they drew... Like, you would think the comic came out after how much she looks like her.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's nuts.
Yeah, it's good show, fun show.
We also have The Long Halloween in stock, which we're not going to talk about because really there's like 3 DC Halloween specials that become The Long Halloween, and then Long Halloween is issue 1, and then it's the rest of the holidays because we have to go through the entire year to figure out the history.
Right, you need to read the other Tim Cell, Jeff Loeb Halloween stories. Those are more apt
Ghosts of
for
Gotham
the season.
City's battle for the cowl in the middle of the White Night.
Definitely
Ongoing.
No, it's like there were 3 Halloween specials, and then they realized maybe we should just make a book out of this. And so the 3 are their own thing, and then they're stopped. Oh, Brian said he actually met the girl that plays the main character.
She was at Fan Expo.
That's cool. She was there.
She was there.
More importantly than that, the Castle Boy Meets World were there, and we didn't meet them, and we messed up.
We saw them.
We saw them, but we didn't meet them. Yeah, they were like
there.
right there, and then I like panicked, and I had to leave.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Which is funny because I've actually met them.
Right, and then you fangirled.
I've met Ben and Ryder
I
and
was like, "You want to meet him?" You're like, "No, no, no, no."
I literally bumped into Matthew Lawrence.
Right.
And then turned
Like,
around.
hi.
I like bumped into Matthew Lawrence and was like, "Oh my god, I'm so
Hi.
sorry." And I turned around to like walk away, and Ben was right there, and I was like, "I don't know what to do." And then the next day, Ryder Strong was lost, and I had to help him get to where he was going. And I told a joke, and he laughed, and I was like, "Well, I'm done with life. It's
Right.
just all downhill from here." I made Sean Hunter laugh. Where can I go? Like
Nowhere.
nowhere.
You're like,
Nowhere.
"Hey, you want to go blow up a mailbox?"
Right. Whatever you want to do, buddy. And then I gave Michael Jacobs, the creator of Boy Meets World, directions, and he said, "Thanks, I would be lost without you." And I said, "Same," back, because I am a huge Boy Meets World fangirl, and I was like, "Same." And his son laughed, who was Corey's little brother on Boy Meets World. He laughed because you have no idea how many times he said that, and I was like, "I think I do."
Right. Probably a lot.
Yeah, probably a lot, but it was great.
Right.
And also great that I got to meet, Josh too.
My middle name is Corey.
Right.
And
Corey Matthew.
Corey Matthews. I was like, "What? This show's Corey Matthews. That doesn't what?" Well, everybody get off the couch. I need to sit down.
And he has curly hair. You have much more Sean Hunter. You have like Sean's personality.
Now.
Right.
Corey personality when I was a child.
Right. And your hair was curlier. So you were more Corey hair back then too. It's funny.
So it's a thing.
I didn't know him then, obviously, but
don't tell her. We're gonna get out of your hair. We're gonna go as fast as we can here and wrap this up in 8 minutes if we can, right?
Right.
We're gonna do that for these folks.
Here,
giveaway for you really quick.
Give this away.
Oh, this is a cool one. What's the last prize?
I've got 2 more prizes. You told me I had time. You said I had 4 more giveaways.
This is the last one.
No, because I have this.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a good prize.
Yeah.
The last prize is a good prize. This is Demon Knights. 1 through 4?
Yeah.
1 through 4. This is super cool. You get 4 comics here for winning this question.
Yeah.
What's the question, Shannon?
The question is, which 2 werewolf movies have won Academy Awards for makeup? And if something has won since Matt wrote this question 3 years ago, I don't know. So, which 2 werewolf movies won Academy Awards for makeup?
I always forget that second one.
Oh, well, you wrote the question, so I hope it's right. If it's wrong, guys, blame Matt. I didn't write it.
Old questions.
Old questions. That's what I'm saying. There may have been something else.
There hasn't been a werewolf movie.
I don't know. Maybe.
In the last 3 years?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
BJ, you were half right, and I'm not going to tell you which half.
Thanks, Brian.
Right, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, Brian, I like that you never want to win all the prizes, right, even when you know the answer.
Check them all down.
Right, did that win? Are you wrong? Do you need to check?
No.
Okay.
It may have. I don't think it did. Sure doesn't, as far as I'm concerned.
You have to watch the questions, because then I can't see the answers coming in.
It's true. I'm on it. Yep. BJ got the one that
BJ got the one that you were thinking of?
Kind of. I mean, I'll take it.
Okay, it did not get... So it got an Academy... The Howling got a Saturn Award nomination. It did not get...
Yes, it would have definitely been the better option. Technically, BJ got it, and Cy, y'all did together. You can have the set. It was the Wolfman 2010.
That's the Benicio del Toro
one? It is.
Oh.
Really strange. The only thing good about it is that they didn't CGI his face like Josh Broham.
Right.
They could have just, they could have totally CGI'd that whole movie. There was already Cursed, the Wes Craven werewolf movie in there, and, completely unnecessary movie. But the Wolfman remake with Benicio del Toro was also not really necessary.
It was not really necessary.
A lot of floodlights, like they shot the thing on a football field.
Yeah.
And you're like, where is that light coming from? I'm just distracted.
The whole time.
We're in the woods, right? This whole thing is all
It was. Ugh.
floodlights. I should watch it again. I haven't seen it since theaters.
I was looking up something about the Universal Monsters yesterday because I was working on the project that I'm working on, and I was looking up something, and when I looked up, it came up with the new wave. Like that's what they're now like. If you search just in general Universal Monsters, it comes up with that horrible Tom Cruise The Mummy and the new Invisible Man movie, and then talks about like future. And I'm like, no. Those are movies about the Universal Monsters. The Universal Monsters movies are the original set, and that's like I was like, this is where I will be the nerd of like, you cannot recreate this thing. Like, don't. That is. They're called. They are the Universal Monsters.
They're gonna remake these movies for forever and ever and ever. That's the core group of the monsters. It's the core group of the monsters.
But like, that's when you talk about. If I tell somebody Universal Monsters movies, I don't mean like all the remakes. I don't mean the Brendan Fraser movie.
Right.
I mean the classic one without an actual mummy ever really in it.
Right, exactly. And again, it's the core thing. It's like you can't have a La Llorona movie and call it a Universal Monsters movie.
Right.
Like that's not going to happen. You can't have a Chupacabra movie and call it a Universal Monsters movie. Like again, they're going to have the ones that they made the Burger King toys of in the 90s. If anybody knows what's up, little flip out Burger King toys. Those are my jam. I had all of them.
Do you still have them?
Yeah. Yep, they're my jam. The Wolfman one's really cool because he has the cellar doors, so like the cellar doors pop open when you slide them up. Love that.
Ryan says the new Invisible Man is not terrible.
That's what Josh told me today too. I heard it was pretty
Jeff
good.
said it was good too.
Oh, really?
So apparently we should watch it. I think Jeff said it's on Hulu.
It's on Hulu?
I think Jeff said that, so we might need to watch that.
I was like, which theater did you see it at? Let's go.
Right, no, it's on, I believe it's on Hulu. They dropped it early on the streaming because of COVID.
Right.
So.
Cool. Definitely worth watching.
Josh
Hulu,
or Brian said it is not good either. It's terrible. It's not terrible, but it is not good. It's right. As long as it's not that like what was it, the Hollow Man or whatever with Kevin Bacon that was supposed to be like the Invisible Man, but like weirdly perverse. I don't need that.
It was strange. I don't need Kevin Bacon.
Word.
Dollar Book Club, really quick. We got Dollar Book Club tomorrow night.
We are
for
talking
Black
about
Science.
this book.
Yep, another Rick Remender fantasy and space book.
Right, this wraps up our Remender series.
Trilogy.
Right, we've had 3 Rick Remender, not in a row, but almost in a row.
This summer, since this summer, we've done Deadly Class, we've done Seven to Eternity, and now Black Science. Another fantasy and space book. We'll see how tomorrow goes. It's going to be cool. It's not spooky. Sorry, we didn't have any spooky books.
There was no spooky books this year. We should have saved Walking Dead for this week. That's on us.
That's what we should have done. We were excited about it.
Yes.
You know, how a man has Kevin Bacon.
And there's a throw-up face next to that. Something that we've talked about at book club before that I just thought I'd bring out if you guys weren't a part of book club, so you don't have this. This is the perfect Halloween read. It's Ice Cream Man #1.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to throw this one out there. Ice Cream Man is a horror anthology that we are obsessed with.
So good.
You're not probably going to find a decently priced copy of #1, but you can get this Image First copy for $1. So
yes. We also have the trade of issues 1 through 4.
Past book club book that you should check out for Halloween for $1.
Yeah, totally. We actually just had to reorder those because people get that all the time. It is a great $1 book. A lot of people who I know, most of the people who are watching here today are into comics. You guys read comics. You guys know about comics. People who don't know a lot about comics, anthology series are really, really, really good for that. If you guys are like trying to turn your friends onto some comics, we always recommend Ice Cream Man because it's people like horror movies, people like anthology series. You can jump in. You don't need to know anything about it, and you get one great standalone story with every issue.
Yes.
Super cool. And again, great for the season, like Shannon said. Giveaway again already? What? That's so crazy.
Brian's ruined my night.
What do you say?
Invisible Man is on Hulu, but you have to have HBO Max to watch it.
What?
Because it's one of those subscriptions.
What? So you have to watch it on
technically on HBO Max, but you can watch. It's like how HBO also feeds to Amazon.
So you need to have 2 things.
No, because you could just watch it on HBO. But yeah.
But how do you watch it on Hulu then?
Then you have to pay for HBO Max.
So you're paying for Hulu, and then you have to pay for HBO Max.
So it's like
so you're
whichever
not
one of
actually
your
watching it
streaming
on Hulu.
Right, it's just aggregating it to Hulu. because they have that partnership. Right, just like Amazon does.
I hate that they're doing this, you guys. It's getting to the point now with your digital streaming device that you can't actually fucking stream anything unless you pay for each channel individually, rather than just having all the shit on there. But now, like, you go to Amazon, you're like, oh, cool, I've got Amazon Prime. All of my packages get to me in 3 days or less. This is fucking sweet. Sweet, I also have a streaming service with it, and you can't fucking watch anything on there because they're all tie-ins to other apps.
Yes, and Mary, thank you. That is very sweet. But we have Roku's and HBO Max, and Roku are in a fight, so they will not allow HBO Max on Roku, and Roku is all we have. So we can't actually even get HBO Max to watch it
at all. So, luckily, right when we opened the store, we bought a 4K Ultra HD Roku. Top of the line, fastest Roku out there. Thing is badass. And now HBO Max is in a fight with Roku.
And took away our DC channel.
And they took away DC because they can't figure out if they want HBO Now or Go or Max, or to put it up their butts. They don't know what they want to do with all of it. But according to them, all of streaming everything is going to be off DC by next year. And DC Universe is going to be DC Universe Max.
Yeah.
There's some bullshit, and it's just going to be comics.
Mm-hmm. It's
and
DC Unlimited.
It looks like they're going to lose their $8.99 a month from us.
Right.
Because we only watch it in the store
because
to
we
watch
already have an unlimited series of
right, and we
DC
bought
comics.
The fucking Roku 4K Ultra HD, which means it was not cheap, which means we don't have money now to buy another device for an HBO fucking Max. But seriously, thank you to all of you guys out there who have offered your logins. We really appreciate that.
Right.
Super
Brian said you
guys.
could connect a PC to your TV. Not really, and yet kind of.
Yeah.
But also, I'm on principle here, Brian, because I have a streaming device, and my streaming device is in a fight with my streaming service.
And my laptop is a USB-C, so I need a freaking dongle to convert that to HDMI to even be able to put that on the TV. So that's another fucking thing that I have to buy.
You get this, Brian. You see what you get this.
This is what you get, and this is American. This is made in America. They make more things to make you have to buy more things because that's the way it is. I'm buying everything from China. At least it lasts longer than shit that's made in the U.S.
You're losing your mind.
I know.
You're losing your mind.
That's that point of the night.
Right.
Let the anger consume
me. Once again, that's all of this is anger towards AT&T.
That's all it is. It's just the anger towards AT&T.
I was like, really? He doesn't mean any of the things he said except that he's mad at AT&T.
Every time, every week, it always comes down to the parent company.
Right. Can we talk about this comic?
Let's give it away.
So we be back on
Let's
track.
give it away. We got negative 3 minutes to get out of your hair.
Right. So this is our book club for next week, which is Brian. That's ridiculous. This is
the first appearance of Black Widow. Tales of Suspense number 4.
This is the next issue that we will be doing. Very excited.
Yeah.
And we have one more question, so I'm gonna use the Wes Craven question. What was Wes Craven's first adult?
No, number 52. I'm so wrong.
What was Wes Craven's first adult job, kind of thing? His first profession before he became a filmmaker. So if you know that, you will get this comic and be prepared for book club in a week. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to do the first appearance of Black Widow. I don't think I've ever read it, so it's going to be exciting. Somebody was talking about it the other day, and they said that they don't actually, she didn't look like Black Widow. I think it was actually Ben, I think it was Brian's son, was saying she didn't look like Black Widow, so we pulled out and did not open the first appearance of Black Widow's outfit. So,
yes.
Yeah, very excited.
We do have that one in stock.
Yes. Brian, I know it too, though. Good. You can always message me, because I love when you message us the right answers.
Right.
But yeah, if you know Wes Craven's first adult profession prior to filmmaker, you can have this book and be prepared for next week's book club.
Yeah. Again, we do a lot of these trivia so that you... Before then, Brian.
Yeah, I was going to say before that. But his non-filmmaking at all. Like, not connected to the film industry profession. I guess I'll say it that way instead of saying before filmmaker, but before film industry. Happy Halloween. It's in my head. It's in my head every day until Halloween. And there 5 more days? You said you were seeing... No, there's porn star. You would think, based off of the amount of boobs in his movies, that that was his passion project there. But back scratcher salesman. BJ, you are nailing some great career choices for if, this doesn't work out. These are our options.
I appreciate it.
Birthday clown. Oh my god, that's a great one.
Not John Wayne Gacy.
No.
John Wayne Gacy was the birthday clown.
Right. I am so glad that your mom never hired John Wayne Gacy to come to your house.
We're so...
Like,
right.
That could have been a thing. You could have been murdered by John Wayne Gacy.
He's already gone by then, I think. No.
We're going non-film related at all, Brian.
Before the film.
Before film, like unfilm related. He had a big job.
Close, Ram.
Yes, Ram, very close, very close. Look for like a different word that goes with that theme.
Right. Specifically.
And there's a thing that came technically before this in that same realm, but might have been in high school.
You looked it up.
I did, and you on these comments?
I'm
Okay, because I was like, it might be. I don't know if it was in high school or if it was in the same place that the other one was. Right, Brian, you were definitely right in. No, it was still at the first thing. Okay, cool. Chef isn't here, so yeah.
Oh yeah.
I have spam wrong answers in his honor. He will appreciate that.
Definitely appreciate that. Yes,
Wes Craven's first big professional job that was not in the film industry. You get this comment.
Mm-hmm. No.
Nope. Ram was the closest one. Oh, I have a comment that I can't make on this. I was going to make a comment and a joke that about somebody else unrelated, but I can't make that joke. Yes, Ram. He was a college professor. He taught English and humanities before he went into film. So
Bam.
I am giving that to Ram.
Ram's got the book. Be ready for book club.
Right. I'm very excited. Also, it feels weird to be like you're getting tales of suspense because that seems like
number 52.
52? Yes. Okay.
52 and 53. You can read that from there?
Yes. You can't because that just looks like shapes and stuff to you.
Right.
I'm gonna rant about some stuff really fast.
Yeah.
Well, really, you're gonna rant about some stuff really fast, I guess. Comic industry news: DC is pulling out of one of their new distributors already. I can't even say it without laughing. One of the new distributors
DC made two distributors during COVID because they were mad that Diamond wasn't distributing comics because comic stores weren't open. So they started two new distribution companies so that they could continue to sell comics to stores that weren't open. And they were like, oh, if your store isn't open but you still want to spend money because you can't even afford to keep the lights on in your store, well, we don't care. We haven't made any money. We know you haven't made any money, but we haven't made any money. So we're starting two new distribution companies. And now they're already shutting one down.
Right. So we have until the end of the month.
Which is the one we use.
Right, which is the one we use. So at the end of the year, we're switching next month. So your comics are fine. They're coming, all of that. It's just ridiculous that they're once again changing everything. And now there's only one distributor for DC Comics for the entire publishing industry, which proves the point that they are not, this proves the point that this is not about, because they were like, oh, well, we just think it's great to break up a monopoly. There shouldn't be just one distributor, so that's why we wanted multiple distributors. But now they're going back. And yes, I know that
and that would be true if they distributed other fucking comics.
Right, but they
besides
only do
just DC. Right, because everyone else is like, no, we like everything under one umbrella.
Everything. Right,
it's really nice.
It's nice to pay one shipping fee. And now we will have the new place that we're getting comics from only does FedEx. So now we have to get them from FedEx.
Oh, which is even more expensive. And we don't know the guy.
Like our guy that delivers your comics right now, if it's raining, he actually BJ, I don't think you can say that. But he said there, business daddy is an idiot. guy that does deliver our comics right now, if it's raining, he like takes extra precaution because he knows there are comic books inside. So he actually makes sure to like put them in a dry space and like cover them up and make sure that they're not going to get wet.
And he's got a kiddo who likes comics.
So he always comes in like gets
supports
stuff
us,
and like gets freebies for his kiddo and stuff.
Awesome.
But if we're for some reason like we don't answer the door in time, he like makes sure they're protected if it's raining.
Right, he'll stand them on end and put them underneath the thing.
Yeah, and if it's not raining, like he like it's just really he'll bring them all. I like that he like actually like brings them in and like puts them in a good spot.
FedEx, even if the door is open, they won't even knock. Mm-mm. They'll just walk up and put a tag on the window and walk away.
And say that nobody was there.
That says no one was there. And we're like, but I was sitting here, like literally I've run out the door after the guy, like, I'm right here. You could have walked in. Like
it's
FedEx
a business. The
yeah,
door's open. Business. I know it looks like a house, but it's a business.
Right. They're like, oh, no one was there. Sorry. I mean, that has literally happened
every time
times.
FedEx is delivered here. FedEx. And you have to end up going to the FedEx thing, and that's going to be a hassle. And
speaking of, we got hats coming in this week. They're coming via FedEx. Next week we'll have them after I track them down. But we're getting hats in for the store.
For like Bad City hats,
yeah,
not
Bad
like
City,
just
random hats. Cool hats.
So that's awesome news. Cool. And hopefully, like this FedEx thing, like the guy will get used to it eventually, and it'll be fine.
Be a cool dude.
But it's also the comics.
Don't ditch your comics.
The comic distributor that we're using right now, they also ship on, and they come in on Thursday or Friday, and the new one won't get here until Monday. So it's just a different thing. Yeah. Our FedEx people have always not been great, so I'm hoping that they are gonna. It's not a Bat City fedora. I just didn't have on a different hat.
Definitely not a fedora.
Although I bought this hat and I could have just borrowed BJ's hat.
Right, it's true.
But yeah, so we'll see what happens. I'm hoping that our FedEx guy gets used to coming here and it's cool and that's not a problem. I've heard horror stories of people saying that their comics are not they're not making it in time, or FedEx says that where they don't
of
show
the
up.
Two distribution companies, the one that we went with for DC, the one that we went with has had more solid success stories.
Yeah.
The other one has had more late things, more damaged comics consistently. So expect to see those things.
Right, which you won't see them because we won't ever give you a damaged comic.
But we will say, hey, your comics are late this week. Come on Thursday because the comics aren't going to be in until Wednesday at 6 p.m. I hear a lot of times.
So I'm hoping that them taking over as the only one means that they're going to put more into it.
I hope so. Who knows? Renee made a good point in shop today that DC might go back to Diamond.
Right, I would love that.
That's a strong possibility. Obviously, Diamond is clearly cranking it back out again. That's a possibility. The other thing is that they shut down Lunar entirely and go to AT&T stores, other places that they sell comics, and comic book shops. DC has repeatedly said that comic book stores are not an important part of the comics equation.
Right.
They have repeatedly said that the stores that sell comics do not matter, that they can sell their stores at Walmart. We've seen them be carried at Walmart.
AT&T has said that.
Yes.
Not DC.
AT&T has said that. AT&T stores then will carry them. Walmart will carry them. Comic book shops don't get access to them. I wouldn't be surprised if that
happens eventually.
If that happens. And at that point,
we'll see what happens.
What do you do, right?
Yeah.
It's like, we have back DC Comics.
It'll be an interesting thing to see. Because it won't hit a year of all this until April, so I'm curious to see how the whole year of DC trying a new distributor plays out. Renee's point coming from in the past, we've seen other publishers pull out of Diamond when Diamond first went into being the sole distributor, and it became a giant mess of everybody being at different before Diamond also everybody was at different distributors on this stuff, and then it was like Diamond kind of solidified into this one thing, and then people tried this before. This is not the first time it happened. This is just the first time since we've established like New Comics Wednesday and made it a thing that somebody's pulled out and changed their release date and everything. So I'm curious to see how this continues to go. It's just kind of ridiculous that we're like 6 months into it and one of the distributors is already like, okay, we're done. And I think part of that comes from the fact that distributor is Midtown, and it's about to be the holiday shopping season, and Midtown is a huge online retailer,
They
and
got
a
other things to
storefront,
do.
and they don't have time because they don't have different manpower for this. They don't have customer service representatives for UCS as the distribution company. They've never built the time to have like a UCS team. And I think with the holidays coming up, they were like, we're already slammed. We can't do this. It was supposed to be like half the people went to UCS and half went to Lunar, and it was kind of like only the East Coast was really supposed to go to UCS, and everybody else was supposed to go to Lunar. But when you went to sign up initially at Lunar, it was like a blank page that just had little tiny like bad like Microsoft serif font kind of like basic like Times New Roman kind of thing that was like log in here and give us your tax information and your store ID, and everybody was like, I don't know what this is. There's nothing on this website. And so I think a lot of people ended up going with UCS because it's like at least it was already built to look just like Midtown's customer front. They just made a different storefront with all the same stuff. And so it was like everybody's like, well, I feel safer with this. But now Midtown being overwhelmed, I think they were like, we need to pull out of this before the holidays come because there's no way we're going to make it through at the busiest time as online and storefront retailers without a team, and we can't hire a team to do that because it doesn't bring in enough money to do so. And so I think that's what happened. I mean Diamond has multiple teams in multiple locations just in their warehouses. Nonetheless, the team is like there's reps for every like section of stores and things like that.
Yep.
And Midtown doesn't have the ability to hire that many people to do this. And so I think they were just like the burden of what would come on us at the holidays is what really caused this decision. But and Lunar is a little more better prepared to set that up because they are only an online store in the first place, so they don't have to also worry about how they're going to run their multiple locations of a storefront at the same time. So I think that's why Midtown is shutting down theirs, and it's just going to Lunar. It is a ridiculous thing for DC to do. I think DC should just go back to Diamond personally, and not just because they only want to pay one shipment cost, but I think it is like there's no instructions, there's no guides, there's no, we were just talking about this today, there's no preview catalog. They make DC Connect, but it's only online. And so for people like me, when I'm doing ordering for our shop, that DC Connect is a month-long catalog that I have to click through every single page every time I'm looking for something to order. And if I get to the title, I get to say Wonder Woman, and it's like, oh, this is Wonder Woman 759, and I'm like, wait, I need 758. Oh, that must have been at the end of the other catalog. That was a different month entirely, but it didn't come out yet. So now I have to go back and get the other catalog and click through that all the way until I get to where Wonder Woman is. It's not in alphabetical order.
It's not in alphabetical
It's
order.
not
None
in
of their
anything.
stuff
It's
is.
just
It's
a
you have to
thing.
find it, right?
And
it's a
so
fucking
it's
mess.
a mess. And it's like at least with Diamond, even Marvel having a separate catalog because it's so much,
Right.
I can still flip through the Marvel catalog and I can like pull pages and like I'll pull stuff out if it's like, oh my gosh, these are all the like the big that we were talking about, the indigenous voices. I can pull out those pages that have indigenous voices and I can like tape them on the counter above me, the cabinet above me, and know like, okay, these are all of them and this is when they come out. And so I have all that information, but then it's like you get to this and it's like, oh, it's a complicated, it's not easy for a store to use. So how easy is it for a customer to find it and use it? And it's like,
Right.
it's not. And they make those posters, and the posters have the orders on the back. Well, it's not everything. And then the next, like sometimes, so they'll have two posters at a time, and neither poster has everything on it. You still have to go to DC Connect and look to see what the other things are. So people miss stuff all the time. They're like, how did I not know this was coming out? And I'm like, well, because how would you? There's no way to know. And so that's like, for me, that's the biggest thing with this is it's yes, it's a big screw you to the shops in general, like this whole thing has been, but it's also a screw you to the customers in that they took away all the customer resources and didn't make it easy for them to also know. And it's like all of these customers are like, I want to know more about, I want to get my comics, like even Renee was saying today, like I love DC, I don't want to be mad at DC, I want to buy DC. How do you buy DC if
Right,
you
don't
know
make
what
it
it
easy
is?
for you guys.
And so it's like you gotta you gotta do something. You gotta meet the customers where they are. And I know in all of the retailer forums, so many of them are like, I have customers that don't even own computers. Whether it's
Right.
because of age or because of financial situation or whatever, I have customers that don't own computers. How are they supposed to how are they supposed to see this catalog? And answer to that was print it out as a retailer. And it's like, I don't have the ability to print 150-page documents every month for multiple customers. 40-page documents, 50-page documents, whatever it is. I can't print that for every customer. And they're like,
oh, they're not AT&T customers. Well, then
they don't need to buy comics.
They don't need to buy comics anyway. They should be an AT&T customer. Have you heard that our new phone is coming out?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a mess, and I hope that whatever the solution is, it eventually gets resolved, because I love so many things. Tom Taylor's Deceased is really good. Mariko Tamaki's Wonder Woman.
This goes back to what I was saying earlier with the dongle and the HDMI and the Roku and the whole thing. And it's all like, well, we need more of your money. We haven't gotten enough of your money. We need more of your money. And we're going to screw you. And if you're too poor to have a computer, well, then you don't get it, because obviously you don't have the money for comics either. Like, they don't make anything accessible for anyone.
Yeah.
Things are catered to the rich, and if you don't have all of the money in the world, they're still screwing the money out of you. It's everybody.
Yeah.
It's everybody, and it's all the American companies. I hate to be that guy and complain about all this stuff on here, but if there's an American company, that's what they do. They screw us.
Well, no, because Sony does it too.
Right.
That's not an American company.
True.
It's just
corporate greed.
It's corporate greed. It's not a country.
And we're just
it's
seeing it
thing.
everywhere. It's just rampant at this point in our lives. It's the Lex Luthor world that we live in.
Right. Renee said, of the 5 DC Connects that have come out, I've only looked through 2 of them. If digital is your plan, then what is your plan to market it? Exactly.
Good point.
That's exactly my question.
Great point.
So yeah, that's the big news.
Megan Hutchinson also has an Ice Cream Man Watchmen variant coming out. That's super cool.
That's through the 616 Comics and
616 Comics.
Yeah, and that's cool.
Yep.
Also, you guys should just check out the 616 Comics store variant page. They have some amazing ones, and John and his wife are amazing people. So,
so awesome.
Check that out. And then, Brian brought up the Marvel Alien variants coming soon. So, will we be getting local comic shop books for the 616 Megan Hutchinson variant? Guillermo wants to know. Oh, look at that. Brian says new iPhones are USB-C on the charger end and don't come with the charger block, so you're screwed without a USB-C plug.
Well, you plug it into your computer that you have.
And Renee says, don't get me started on iPhone 12 saga. So apparently everybody's real mad about the next iPhone.
You guys are all in there with us. We're not, I guess we're preaching to the choir.
Right. And then I'm trying to think, other industry news. Oh, that's right. Matt's going to be on a panel on Friday night with Drew Edwards, the creator and writer of Halloween Man, celebrating the 20th anniversary. It'll also feature Nicola Scott. If you guys don't know who that is, you should buy Black Magic and look at her beautiful art. And then...
Right. And see me go, hi, Nicola, I love your art.
I'm very excited. And you'll do it. You'll do just fine. If I could be on a panel with Janet Harvey and Sean McKeever, and they talk to them like we're all on the same page, you're fine. Because I definitely am not on the same page as them.
And if I can look at a black cylinder and act like I see all your beautiful faces out there, and be fine with it.
Yeah, you're good. Just, it's fine. Oh, Guillermo meant the local comic shop books. No, whatever that is. No.
Like the Something's Killing the Children one?
Right. I don't know.
Maybe? Oh.
Yeah, Something is Killing the Children, Dune, and something else. I forgot what. We're looking into the Something is Killing the Children.
They are on FOC tomorrow night.
Right. We'll see what we can do.
We are going to order a bunch and see what we get.
We're going to see what we can do once the FOC is out and it tells me whether or not we can do it.
True. That said, that's a great transition because that's something that I had forgotten about that I wanted to talk about. Last Ronin comes out this week.
Oh, man.
There is a big thing, even on your little key collector. I know each and every one of you has it because of Comic Tom talking about key collector the whole time. On there, it will give you the rundown of what happened with Last Ronin, that they underprinted the book, and that retailers are not getting what they ordered, and that their allotments are going to be super short. So we're gonna see what
we
we
get.
got for Last Ronin.
I ordered a ton. We'll see what actually shows
Right,
up.
you ordered 20 or 25 copies. Hopefully we get them. Yeah, we'll see what ends up coming. If we get 2, it's gonna be a friggin' bloodbath.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think I know in order who asked for it though. So.
you what?
I think I know in order who asked for it.
Totally.
So.
Totally. And it's like everyone has asked and subscribed. I feel like every single one of our subscribers has asked us, and every single one of our family friends has said, "Hey, you own a comic book store, right?"
Right.
Yeah, last time I saw you at the holidays, I did. Yeah, what's up? Did you hear that there's this Ninja Turtles book where they're all dead but one of them and they're the last Ronin or something? I'm like, yes, the last Ronin that's coming out. Is it out yet? And then like 2 months later, like, dude, did that Turtles book ever come out? Okay, cool. How have you been?
Right.
Yeah, I heard you got married.
Right.
Yes, thanks for talking about the Turtles first. Well, it comes out Wednesday, and so it's going to be a freaking bloodbath.
Brian said he heard as much as 50% less than what we ordered.
50% less. If we have 50% less than what we ordered, we can't fill everybody's.
Yeah.
So
we'll see what happens. We'll let you know.
TikTok, we might. I don't want to price them up on day one, but we'll see what happens, and we'll see what people are willing to do. We are a nonprofit organization. Things good, Sherry. We want to help you guys out. And like Shannon said, whoever asked first, we try and prioritize.
Yeah.
That's usually what we do here.
Yeah.
So.
And you were talking about this today in the shop with Renee, and I heard it mentioned. I feel like we say that a lot, that we're a nonprofit organization, and I know that there have been organizations that have said that in the past, and I always feel like it's important to like say like we actually like, for if you don't know, like Matt and Stan and myself, none of us get paid to be here. We all volunteer our time, and if you guys know, this is Matt's only job, and he does not get paid to be here. So when we say we're a nonprofit organization, we are volunteers, and we are spending all of our time to run this store on our own. Also, shout out to Jess Madel and Billy Martinez, who have been coming in and volunteering their time to help get books out and cover the store on delivery days and things like that for Matt. But it is all volunteer based, even for us, and we put a lot into it, more than just time. If you guys don't know that, as a small business, uh, everybody always says, "Oh, you guys must be rich because you run a small business," and we laugh because we're like, first of all, we own a small nonprofit, and second of all, people who own small businesses, especially in their first year, don't have money. So that's a crazy thing to think. But I just want to remind people, like, when we say, like, yes, we're a nonprofit, like, we have resources that we've created and given to kids. For those of you who have brought kids into the store, you know we like to give kids comics that'll get them into reading and get them excited about comic books. We have done events with different libraries and schools and things like that. We have so much more that we're hoping to do once schools and libraries are open again completely. And we give away scholarships, which we do have this year's scholarship winner, and I'm hoping to announce that soon. I just want to finalize some things for that because of COVID closing the store, for closing comics in general for 2.5 months. It was a little bit delayed on the announcement, but the scholarship winner does actually know that they are the winner, and I have received the information from the scholarship winners to make a post about it, so we should be doing that pretty soon. So there is a scholarship winner, and probably usually just after election day is when the next scholarship application opens up. So if you are interested in the 2021-2022 school year application, we will be doing that as well. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Ben had all the coffee table comics on the couch and just reading them one by one.
That's why we do this.
Yes, Ben is like so great. We have 2 regular kiddos who come in with their dads. Brian's son being one at midnight. That's fantastic. But I love to see the kids come in and just get really excited about
Kids
reading.
coming last night, and kid was like, "I like Venom." And I was like, here's his first book. This is Lethal Protector. It's his first one. This is the collected edition. And he turns to his mom. He hugs the book and goes, I'm good. I don't need anything else here.
He also had a stack of 4 other books, too.
Right, at that point. And he was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. I can go.
Yeah.
But it was so cute to see him, how excited he was
Yeah.
to do it. And I was talking to Renee about this today. You know, when I got a book back when I was a kid, I would memorize every panel on that book. You know, I know exactly what the faces look like in that comic. And maybe it was another year and a half before I'd get a comic again. You know, so I only had that one, but it was so cool. It was like gospel.
Yeah.
To read that book. It was so exciting. So it's good to let kids get out the door with a couple of comics and see things and get so excited about that one. And even if it takes you another week or a month to get another comic book, you're so excited about that one. You had such a good time.
Right, and it's a huge passion project. I actually, the educational side of this, the curriculum has always come out of what I did. I taught, I did tutoring classes and stuff at a boys and girls club, and the kids were being forced out of their classrooms to their fun classrooms, playing soccer and stuff with their friends. They were forced out of that to come to tutoring because they didn't have stuff. So of course they're getting bullied because they have to go to tutoring when everybody else is getting to have fun. So it was like, how do I make tutoring fun to the point where the kids who are getting to play soccer and video games and things like that are jealous of the kids coming to tutoring? And so we actually did shield training, and I had a bunch of my cosplay friends like over time like come in. I had one come in as Storm and talk to the whole boys and girls club about bullying and how to not be an asshole basically. But we use the, you can't be an agent of shield if you don't know how to read, because you won't know how to communicate things to the Avengers, and the Avengers will get lost. And it's just so great to get. So I built this curriculum that just took comic books, and it taught kids all of the skills that they needed to know to pass their standardized testing, but also to learn how to read. And it was so great to see these kids get so excited. And so since then, we've done writing workshops and reading workshops and things like that using comic books, teaching kids to make their own, teaching kids to read through them. And so there's so much more to come. So when we say, hey guys, we're a nonprofit and the money that you spend here goes towards these things, we really mean that. It does not come to us at all. It pays to get the comics into the building for you to buy, and then the rest of the money goes towards those things. Um, the money doesn't even go to the building the comics are housed in. Like, the money goes towards those things. And so I want you guys to always know that, like, when we say thank you for giving your money to help kids read, you really are paying for books to go into kids' hands. You're paying for these workshops and things like that.
And the donations that we get, a lot of the times, the donations that we get, I mean, we sell the key issues and stuff like that, again, for low prices because it's all going to that and it was donated to us. It's not a big thing. We sell them for an affordable price so you guys can get the books that you want, but to put money towards these programs. And the rest of those books, we're happy to give them to kids.
Yeah.
Kids who come in and go, what's this one about? I like this one. And it's like, here, little dude, take this.
Right.
You know? Have that book, enjoy it. You picked it out, you had your eye on it. Doesn't matter what it was, it came to us for free. It was a donation. The point of that donation was to inspire a child to read. And if it caught their eye for some reason, obviously you want to teach them a lesson too in some way.
Right.
Any teaching experience, like, oh, did you save up your money this week? Did you do your chores? Did you help your mom and dad out?
Yeah.
And then here you go, here's this thing, and that they picked out and that they're excited about. That's the great thing about this, and that's the nice thing about being a 501c3 and having this organization. It's so rewarding on that level, but like that's payment to us in the way that it is. Of course, obviously we want this to be one of those nonprofits that can pay us too. Like that's a down the line goal, but it doesn't need to be that right now.
Right. We want it to be about the mission from the beginning, and if
Yes.
it gets to the point where it also like takes, grows and becomes a thing, that's great. But really, the most important thing is to inspire that next generation to use their imaginations, but also to use their mind to learn to read and write and be strong and be superheroes, both through those writing and reading skills and through the choices they make. Because we were all inspired to do good things by the comics that we read, and it would be great to see the next generation be inspired as well. We see a lot of that with Gen Z and the way they're showing up right now, and I want the generations that come after them to be inspired to make the right choice too.
Yeah. And, everyone's like, well, what do you get out of it? You're not getting anything out of it. And honestly, I want to tell you straight up, we do get some things out of it. One, we get to touch some really cool books. We get to see some really cool things, and we get to feel like superheroes in that we can do these things for kiddos, and we can do our part. And the more that we can do with this, and the more that we can build it, the more things we can do. That is so super cool. That is greater than any monetary value that you could possibly give us.
Yeah.
That's so neat.
Our eventual goal is to be able to work even in lobbying for comic book education to be something that's seriously taught in classrooms. I want to work with organizations like the Sex Education Agency to actually get it as like a part of curriculums eventually. And there is a huge stigma, if you've seen our live streams before, against it from people from parents to educators to the people making the decisions.
And the post office.
And the post office. So we want to break that stigma and really just showcase the value in there. And there is a massive, massive project that comes along with that I will someday be able to have time to do. And if you are interested in being a part of a massive project that's really going to show the educational value and merit of comics, please send me a message. And if you have lots of free time and you like to read comics, send me a message. You can message us like the shop, or you can message me personally and say, hey, whatever it is, it's that crazy project, I really want to be a part of it, and I will let you.
It comes down to reading a lot of comics.
It comes down to reading a lot of comics.
Yeah.
And so if you're interested in doing that and you have the time and want to do that, please let me know, because I have a massive
it's a big undertaking. It's going to take an army to do, but it's going to be worth it.
Yeah.
That said, we have one more exciting comic book news thing for everyone.
Yeah.
One more piece of news. 1 year ago tomorrow.
Today.
Oh my God, it's 12:36. 1 year ago today, we stayed up all night. Well, no, even after. It was after that.
It
was after that.
That
1 year ago
weekend.
today, we had a grand opening here at this location of Bat City Comic Professionals.
Yes.
And this building has been open for a year. It's gone through a lot of changes in the last year.
It's gone through a lot of changes in the last couple of months in COVID times.
Yeah, absolutely. But Stan and Shannon and myself have put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into making this thing what it is. And we want to thank you guys all for coming by, supporting the shop, hanging out here, dealing with us, supporting us through COVID. All of the last year of madness. Definitely October of 2019 is a weird time to open a store.
Yeah.
On one fine Halloween comic fest. Everybody who came out and cosplayed that day and gave away treats to all the kiddos and all the comic books, and had all the little kiddo trick-or-treaters come up. It was a super cool way to start this thing out. And yeah, thanks for all your support in the last year.
Yes.
Yeah, we couldn't have done it without you.
Right. So thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for being a part of our Bat Fam.
Yeah, Bat Fam.
Bat Fam. Let's give them a prize. Speaking of Bat Fam.
Last prize of the evening, we have got a Detective Comics 1027, the super deluxe, oversized, sweet issue, glossy, and this is the Scarecrow cover.
Yes, which I brought because it's Halloween. So, oh no, Brian, you have time? Read it. Read it before tomorrow. It's that book, Black Science.
Well, you said he might not be on for book club, but he did read the book.
Oh, okay, you did read it. Okay,
yeah, you did read it.
Well, I'm glad you read it. Send a note with your thoughts. I'll pass them on during book club. The question to get this Detective Comics brand new 1027.
Clayton Crane cover.
If you would like to win this, you need to know the answer to this question. 81-year-old Giles Corey was accused of witchcraft in Salem in 1692. He was executed by pressing, where he was sandwiched between two boards and had rocks placed on him. What were his famous last words? This is one of Matt's heroes.
Sure is. Does that give it away?
No.
Right. Fuck you is not the answer.
Right, it's not the answer. So if you know Giles Corey's famous final words from his death, his execution in Salem in 1692,
and you get this
beautiful cover.
Clayton Crane Halloween cover. There it is.
Oh my gosh, so many of you.
Right,
that was like same timesies.
Oh,
it was Brian and Mary, like same timesies. It popped up at the same time.
Holy cow.
I think I have two. So
right. We'll give you guys this book.
Yeah.
Absolutely. More weight aka get fucked. Because I haven't said it this week.
Right.
I had to say it every live stream
BJ
somewhere.
said, obviously it was fucking all of y'all. All of y'all.
All y'all.
He couldn't do that with his hand. He's under rocks. Yes.
Well, his hands weren't.
His hands weren't.
His chest was. He's like, all y'all.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Giles Corey, man. This is a man who was not going to let anything even more weight bring him down.
That's right. More weight.
More weight.
Right. Do you confess? He's like,
Which,
oh no.
I think the spot of Giles Corey's crushing is now a Walgreens.
Oh really?
I think so. I think there was something, either it's where the gallows were or it's where Giles Corey was crushed is now a Walgreens, and there's like a little plaque outside. I don't know because we weren't able to get married in Salem, but from what I read on the internet.
We don't need to bring this up. Don't bring heartbreak and sorrow into this occasion of us celebrating 1 year anniversary.
Right, I know. Okay, Brian, I will give that to Sai. But yeah, so anyway, Giles Corey, he's awesome. Stand up against people who try to burn you at the stake or crush you.
Stand up to your oppressors.
Yeah, stand up.
Yeah,
more
exactly.
weight.
Right. Or if you can't stand up, tell them to keep going, I guess.
Yeah, just take it.
Right, exactly.
And if we will probably definitely say something to you guys between now and then, but if not, happy Halloween.
Yeah, absolutely. Join us tomorrow for Black Science. What?
PG said there should be Funko Pops of the Salem trials. Oh my god.
What?
I would love that. If Funko, if you're listening, if you can make a John Adler pop. Or
right, your ancestor,
John Alder. I just told, yes, Alden, thank you. I just totally messed up my own ancestor's name because why? Yeah, if you can make a pop of him, that would be super sweet because
right.
I would love to have
Giles Corey.
Right, I would love a Giles Corey one, but yeah, if they have a John Alden, I can make him running away because he escaped.
Their legs don't move, babe. Their arms,
that's a shame.
I don't think move either. Just the head does.
But I'll do something. But right. It'd be super sweet to have a John Alden pop. Yeah.
Definitely.
Anyway, yes, I would love Giles Corey one too.
Part of that pop historical thing. Thanks, guys. Thanks for 1 year of awesomeness.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you guys so much. I know it's been a crazy year. Lots of things have happened personally and shop-wise, and you guys have been a part of it and supported through all of it. So thank you guys so much.
Absolutely. And thanks for watching our live streams. We'll keep doing this every Sunday.
They'll be earlier. We just had a late start today
because craziness. Happy Halloween if we don't see you. Book club tomorrow night at 8:30 on Zoom. Join me and Drew Edwards and Nicholas Scott and a bunch of other cool creators that have worked on Halloween Man on Friday at 7 p.m. on Zoom also. And watch us have a discussion about making comics.
Yeah.
Which is super cool. Tomorrow night at 8:30. We'll see you there. And if not, we'll see you in the shop sometime this week.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Have a great evening.